The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, November 11th, 2020, and the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM. Mad Dog Sports Radio begins right now. Let's take a little trip back to 1918, shall we?
Yeah.
In the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Bingo, nailed it.
Well done.
Armistice Day. Ceasefire World War I, which would then go on to be known as Veterans Day, which is what we are celebrating today. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. And I've always had a stance that it doesn't matter if you're for or against the war, okay? I'm not 100% sure if there's many humans out there that are like, yeah, let's go to war. But like, I don't know if that even matters whenever you're talking about Veterans Day, because whether you're for or against the war, you should always be for the warrior. Now, the women and men that sign a line saying, hey, listen, I will do what I need to do to protect this country should always be held in high regards. And I take a lot of pride in the work that I've done with the military, both with their families, active and vets of the military. I take a lot of pride in it after meeting a lot of women and men from all over the country that have served our country. Your respect for them goes up even more whenever you realize that they're just average Joes that have this thing inside their brain that makes them want to be superheroes for their country. So happy Veterans Day. We are very thankful for the vets. If you see one in the line getting coffee, if you see somebody eating a meal, maybe getting gas, I think it's not a bad thing to say, hey, thank you, and give them a little salute. Pay for their meal, pay for their coffee if you're able to do so. And always remember that your political thoughts should never creep into your respect for the humans that are doing what they possibly can for everybody that lives in this country. So happy Veterans Day. We're very, very thankful, very appreciative, and can't wait for the show that we have for you today. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, will be joining us in the third hour. Also, in the second hour, we have co-host of NFL Live and also summa cum laude of Yale. Mina Kimes will be joining us today. She is smarter than any human we've had on the show. Her and Myron Roll probably battling at this time. She's co-host on NFL Live. We'll be talking to her today about the NFL, talking to Justin Jefferson. AJ Hawk will be joining us today. We'll be taking your phone calls, 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. It's Glorious Wednesday. It's a beautiful Veterans Day, and we can't thank you enough for rocking with us here on Sirius XM and on YouTube. All the boys are here. At Tone Diggs, I just watched an entire mic'd up thing on Mike Tomlin, and I've always liked Mike Tomlin for what he's done for me personally, right? Mike Tomlin has taken care of me in the NFL. He's the reason why I got in the NFL. He was always very cool to me before every game, during every game, after every game, whenever we played the Pittsburgh Steelers. But as we continue to learn more and more about Mike Tomlin, like the mic'd up thing, and as we see nobody else really talks about how damn good of a coach he is, Mike Tomlin's becoming an early favorite of maybe one of my favorite coaches of all time at this point. Pittsburgh Steelers have Cincinnati Bengals this weekend. Mike Tomlin's been around a long time. He's never had a losing season as a coach for the Steelers, which is remarkable. I think it's been 14 years doing so. Cincinnati Bengals decided to post a video on their social media of TJ Hushmanzada using a terrible towel, which was created by Myron Cope, double yoy, Myron Cope, the local voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who has now passed away, who created the terrible towel, using it as a foot rag, basically disrespecting the terrible towel. We've seen this before. Lendale White with the Tennessee Titans did something with the terrible towel. He jumped on it, stomped on it, and then the Steelers won, I think, by 100 the next game. Are you expecting the same thing for the Cincinnati Bengals, Mike Tomlin, and the boys in Pittsburgh, to see them disrespect the Steelers on social media, and they're going to go out there and get Joey Burrow's ass?
Well, I thought just after they tweeted that, it was a good reminder to everyone that they haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. So.
Holy shit.
Also, I don't believe in curses and stuff like that. But after they did that after TJ Hushmanzada did that last time, Kimo von Oelhoffen snapped Carson Palmer's leg. So I hope that doesn't happen to Joe Burrow.
By the way, it changed the rule in the game. It was actually deemed incredibly disgusting, and they changed an entire rule because of it. But I understand what you're referring to.
And I don't know if they've beat the Steelers in 5 years. So I just thought it was a weird video to put out. But hey, I get it. You're trying to strum up a rivalry that's not there. But it's pretty cool. We'll see how it goes.
I love that the Cincinnati Bengals social media team was like, yo, let's mix this shit up a little bit. Let's go. Hey, let's go ahead and get this thing cool. We don't have an indoor facility. We do a little bit better on social media. Maybe our digital money can pay for an indoor facility for our team. Maybe we can really generate the comeback of the Cincinnati Bengals alongside Joey Burrow, who just got done beating the ass of the Tennessee Titans. I mean, this could be a tough one for the Steelers. And if they danced on the Terrible Towel's grave on social media before the game, imagine what they're going to do after if they get the dub. My Lord.
My question to you is, I said the Steelers would probably lose one of these 3 games against the Cowboys, Bengals, and Jaguars. Most likely the Bengals because they're the best of the 3 teams. And it could have happened this week, but does the players in the locker room see this? And does this do anything for the players in the Steelers locker room for any more motivation at all?
I would say with most organizations, that means absolutely nothing. That a social media person who's probably 21, 22 years old, might not even be from Cincinnati or living in Cincinnati at the time, could be working from home. I would assume in most organizations, somebody would see that and be like, whatever. It feels like the Steelers organization is like a family, like a college. We talked to Brett Kiesel a couple weeks ago, and he said he still goes and meets with the young guys. He takes them hunting. There's still a lot of like OGs talking to the newer team to carry on the traditions. And it feels like the younger players on the Steelers right now have a lot of pride in being Pittsburgh Steelers. And you don't get that in a lot of places, to be honest with you. Normally business is business. Normally players come and go so much. But the way the Steelers have operated with consistency over the years, with the humans they keep around, and for instance, this was brought up before we went in, when the new regime came into the Indianapolis Colts, day 1 or 2, they were literally painting the walls to cover up the history of the Colts. I mean, there was photos of Peyton Manning up there, Dwight Freeney, Johnny Unitas, that getting painted over basically and being like, hey, here we go. It feels like with the Steelers, like they very much appreciate the tradition of being the Steelers. And that Juan Stash story from this past weekend on NFL on Fox, where he said whenever he was about to get hired, maybe for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was coming from the Dallas Cowboys. And he basically told the story about how he told one of the Rooneys, he was like, one of the owners, Rooney family's the owners, and he was trying to pitch himself on why he should be the defense coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming from the Dallas Cowboys. And he was like, I'm used to handling big stage. I came from America's team, Dallas Cowboys. And Rooney was like, hey, listen, enough with that bullshit what you just said. And he told Wannstedt basically that Rozelle went to Chief, which was the original Rooney that bought the team, and pitched after the 76 season or something like that, after the Steelers probably won, and pitched the idea of the Steelers becoming America's team, basically. The first time it was going to be a marketing push, like, hey, Pittsburgh Steelers, steel town, hardworking town, and they're good, they're rough and tough. Like, this is America's team. And Chief Rooney, with a cigar in his mouth, I guess, looked at Rozelle and said, we are America's team. We're fucking Pittsburgh's team. And then the America's team, they go down to Jerry Jones, and they're like, hey, Jerry, you want to be America's team? Jerry, you're goddamn right. We'll be America Cowboys. You want us to change this Dallas name out of here real quickly. So I think the Steelers always have had a great amount of respect for the tradition of being a Steeler, and I'm not sure that's everywhere. And it's cool to witness from outside looking in. And when you hear the stories from Kiesel, and you hear the stories from the players whenever they talk about older players coming back and seeing them, and Tomlin and Colbert's been there, I think, since 2001. So for the last 19 years, one guy's been running it. That's a cool thing that you kind of have in there. And it feels like this Chase Claypool, I think James Conner, even Juju, it feels like they have a lot of pride in being Steelers. Now, will that change whenever money comes around? Probably. Perhaps. I mean, that happens. But Hines, Bettis, all the guys that it just feels like the Steelers are that way. So I would think that if the players didn't feel it, there's some messages coming from ex-players that are like, hey, let's not let these motherfuckers off the hook here. I know they haven't been good for a long time. Let's do that. And I'm not sure that's everywhere. So I think that's something that's very cool about the Steelers organization. And that Wannstedt story on Sunday morning made me die. Not bad delivery either by Wannstedt.
Pretty good. Not terrible.
Not bad. Wasn't bad. I don't know if it wasn't bad. It was a great story. At Boston Connor, really nothing to talk about with you guys.
Nope. Rob Ninkovich said yesterday Cam Newton's not the quarterback next year, so I'm going to start watching college football, see who we're going to draft this year.
Yeah, Mac Jones, by the way, could make a big push. I do believe there's 3 SEC games, including an Alabama game, that have been postponed or suspended due to COVID running absolutely wild on the SEC. Paisan friend of ours, Michael Lombardi, former GM and now just football guru, basically. The guy has forgotten more about football than I think any other human that is currently in media. He talks to us every Monday, Thursday, Friday on the Hammer Dime podcast. He gives out picks. He doesn't actually do the betting. He's a good man. He put out a tweet that said these Halloween parties are probably going to take out SEC football. I didn't even think about that. Halloween, listen, you can shut down college campuses. Okay, you can do what you need to do. You can tell these kids to lock themselves in their dorms and their apartments or anything like that. Halloween is just like a green flag, a hall pass for every human in college to act like the biggest dumbass in history. And I would assume that even COVID and the protocols couldn't have stopped that. And a lot of the players probably were looking out their window, seeing what was popping off and said, we'll go take a little peek-see down there. And then all of a sudden, bang! 3 SEC games suspended this weekend, probably more on the way. Who knows what's going to happen with Notre Dame? 4 SEC games. 4 SEC games suspended this weekend. By the way, shout out to the Big Ten, giving 0 wiggle room to move at all in their 8 weeks. They've already had games postponed and suspended. It's a wild time to be alive, but the quarterbacks of the future are going to be very interesting. Everybody's got that kid from North Dakota.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. They have him at number 3 behind Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, him. Then Mac Jones is in there, and then there's somebody else.
Kyle Trask has been very good for Florida.
That, by the way, that Pitts guy might be 4th pick overall, maybe 3rd pick overall. He's a tight end that, in the world that we play in now, the tight end position is paramount. So that Pitts guy, he got killed last week. I think he might have had 7 concussions and 1 hit, but he's going to be a top 5 pick, guy. But I think Mac Jones is going to be a guy that a lot of NFL teams move up. Now, I'm not saying he's going to top Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. And a lot of people think, by the way, Justin Fields' potentially NFL career may be even better than Trevor Lawrence, which is impossible to judge right now. Excited to see how it pans out. But I think Mac Jones is going to be a guy that people are going to move up quickly after watching him. Will he be able to have a season, though? We shall see, because Alabama's game currently postponed, suspended, and we already know the head coach beat COVID in 24 hours. Maybe all the kids will be able to do that. And, I don't know how it's going to go.
Also love the kid from BYU. That's the quarterback who I kind of watch. Zach Wilson, I think his name is.
Listen, I made a lot of money with that BYU team. I like that BYU team watching them. I actually called them maybe the best football team on planet Earth at one point. They were playing very good football, and that kid is very good. Took a shot at Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he did. Oh, he did? Oh, no.
Yes,
he did.
He said Aaron Rodgers has no swag or something like that.
Really?
He has no swag.
The dude is in a denim with a mustache. Like, I think Zach Wilson was maybe out ahead of his skis a little bit to make a Utah skiing reference a little bit when he was talking there. But he's very good at football, and it seems like he does have moxie and everything like that. But just shut the fuck up, kid. Yeah, there's no reason for you.
That's a bummer, but he might be perfect for the evil empire if he's already taking shots at NFL quarterbacks.
Legit. Legit. He might be a great Patriot. And that BYU team is legit.
Yeah.
I think they're only going to be able to play like 4 games or something like that because they had like a 3-week suspension or something like that.
Do you think BYU gets a pretty big advantage because like half their roster is like 28, 29-year-old guys?
Great question. At Ty Schmidt there, Iowa Hawkeye fan. Go Hawks.
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 They do have a mature team. And I thought COVID, with all the distractions, would definitely benefit the mature team. Most of them already have wives. Some of them already have their families built in. They are all in both on their religion and on education.
Right.
That is a very mature group. But many would argue that if you can get your team to do that, you should be able to reap the benefit of it. And I think the BYU squad is a very mature team. And I like that team a lot. Didn't like the shot at Aaron Rodgers from that guy.
Neither did I.
And by the way, I like that Zach Wilson kid a lot. Like, I like him a lot. I like the way he plays football. He slings it around. I like the way they play. Then he takes a shot at Aaron Rodgers. Like, well, I got to hate you now.
Unprovoked.
Don't want to hate you. Got to hate you. But he's a really good football player.
He is good at football.
He is very, very good at football. What's up, Tony?
All 6 quarterbacks that we talked. I'm just looking at a mock draft. All 6 quarterbacks that we talked about in this mock draft are all going in the first round. So
yeah, that's what we do, man.
Yeah, we know.
And obviously, we looked that up before we got on the air.
For sure.
At Ty Schmidt, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday yesterday had massive fallout. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it feels like those conversations are getting better and better somehow. When I thought there was a chance they're going to potentially fall off, especially 9 weeks into this thing.
No, I mean, he's one of the most genuine, down-to-earth guys that you're ever going to meet. He just also happens to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I'm just glad, forever grateful, really, that you've been able to get him on the show every Tuesday and that you've been able to showcase that side of him. Because, like I said, being a Packers fan for the last however many years, it's usually the other side. It's, this guy's an asshole. He's a prick. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want anything to do with anyone. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
It's interesting because when I met him for the first time in real life and started talking to him, and I was probably on some vitamins, if I had to guess. While he was talking, I was listening, obviously, but then there was a little voice in my brain going, man, I know nothing fucking about this guy. Like, I know nothing about you've been, and I feel like I'm pretty well versed in knowing of the humans, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But when it came to him, knew nothing about him whenever he was talking. And the way he was speaking and the things he was saying, I was like, it doesn't sound like you're just an arrogant dick like everybody. It doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like you have, okay, I get it. You have a dry personality, so all your quotes get taken out of context. Whenever other people try to quote you, they don't have the inference of how it was delivered and what it was supposed to be about. Because if you take some dry sense of humor humans and you just take their quotes and you make it your own, and talk about it as they were being matter of fact as opposed to very different, you could see how he could potentially be painted in an image that was a little bit negative sometimes. Because something could have been taken completely out of context, a complete joke that the commentary goes, yesterday he said that football is easy. This is just an easy game. Well, he just threw a pick there. It's not easy at all now, is it? And Aaron might have been like, well, the NFL playing quarterback, real easy job. So, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a chance that could have been happening for, I don't know, a decade whenever he was in the NFL, and he just chose not to answer any of it. I love talking to him. And this is like the second or third time I've said this during this year because it has been awesome. It has been like astounding just to talk to him because the layers to that son of a bitch. Hey, there's pretty thick layers there.
Yeah. Very thoughtful guy.
Yeah. It's not, he's very good at football.
Very good at football.
Spin the ball.
Speaking of very good at football, Zito's big poll normally involves people that are good at the football. At Viva La Zito today, the 11th day of the 11th month here in 2020. Happy Veterans Day. What is your poll of the day? And maybe did we miss an opportunity to have a Veterans Day poll? Veterans players in the NFL.
Yeah, Pat Tillman.
We can redo it.
Nah, it's too late.
It's too massive already.
Come on.
What's your poll of the day? And what's the
Today is a situational poll. Alert! You're on the goal line, fourth down. You need a tutter or you die. Who runs the ball in? So right now we have, at the last of the pack here, Alvin Kamara at 5%, Aaron Jones 6.4%, Dalvin Cook 16.2%, and Derrick Henry running away 72.4%.
It kind of makes sense whenever you put Derrick Henry on there and it's fourth and goal at the goal line because the 285-pound guy you're going to pick every time.
Unless Bob Spillane's out there to meet him.
At Nick Moraldo, diehard Steelers fan, talking about old Bob Spokane.
Spokane.
Derrick Henry, probably the right answer here, but if we're going to go back in time, I mean, if you got the fridge down there, you hand the ball off to the fridge. Okay?
All stop.
How about the modern day fridge?
The bus?
Basically Derrick Henry, by the way.
Yeah, true.
How about modern day fridge?
Go on.
AQ Shipley.
Yeah, why didn't they give him the ball?
They should give him the ball.
AQ Shipley, friend of the show, backup center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's quick.
Been in the NFL like 13 years or something at this point. Long time. Coming out of college, everybody said he was built like a snowman, big belly, short arms.
Oh, yeah.
But he won the Remington or whatever, which is the college best center, anything like that. So he's always been like an underdog guy. From Pittsburgh, Moon Township to be exact, which is where the airport is. He signs with the Buccaneers because he's been with Bruce Arians for a long time. And every once in a while I'll get a text from him like, just wait for this weekend. And this past weekend, I got one of those. And all of a sudden, watching the game, I think they were down like maybe 75 points at this time. And you see fucking the round mound of man come in and line up at fullback. And it was like, is AQ about to get a touchdown here? Because he was an athlete, by the way. Went into the Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic League, which is WIPIAL, which is our high school league, by the way. He went into the Hall of Fame there for his basketball abilities, not for his football, for how good he was at basketball. So he's a round man, obviously. He's 6'1". So in real life, he's very big. But in the NFL world, when you're standing next to D lineman and offensive lineman, he doesn't look as big. But he's got feet. He's an athlete. He's got hands. He can golf well. And I was like, if this son of a bitch scores a touchdown right now, this is going to be awesome to celebrate, And I can't wait to hear him break it down and what he was thinking. They used him as a distraction, which is a smart play.
Yeah.
Had him just block the corner coming off the edge. Then they threw it to Gronk. Gronk almost had it. ball went through his hands, and I thought there was a chance that A.Q. Shipley, his touchdown percentage when he was on the field was going to be 100, and I was going to really hammer that home. But instead, they used him as a distraction. And you're right, we should have added him onto that goal line thing, because if you got that guy in the backfield, you hand him the rock on the goal line.
Every time.
Simple as that.
Marshawn Lynch should have been on there,
Oh, yeah.
potentially,
There's a lot of gifs under of the famous play
when
of
they
throwing
threw the ball. I can cakewalk that thing over there. Isn't that what he said? What was it, a beer commercial? Marshawn Lynch.
It was the league, right?
Yeah, he was on the show. Maybe the league. He was on the show, and they were like,
I can just throw it.
just throw it. I'll just throw it. Man, I could just hand it to me. I'll just walk it right over there. I can get it. No, I got to throw it. He throws it. What, the whole thing blows up?
Yep.
Got to be creative down there.
Good times.
Got to be
Good
creative in
times.
the red zone. Hey, not a lot of space down there. You got to get creative down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you have Russell Wilson. Let the guy throw it.
Let him cook, dude.
Yeah.
That's what got you here. Marshawn who, dude?
Yeah.
What's going to get
That was a bad decision, man.
No.
And there's a lot of conversation about like Matt Patricia, by the way, greatest fourth quarter call potentially in history. He knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
He actually kept
You'd
a
see it in
certain.
the doc.
He kept a certain group on the field that was actually on the field for pass because they thought he was going to pass because of something that happened earlier in the game. It was just like one of those situations where the New England Patriots do something, you're like, of course they do. But then if you look deeper from the Seahawks, I guess Marshawn Lynch's contract was up at the end of the year. If he scores that touchdown, he's the face of the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of people were thinking that there was potentially a lot bigger things going on and decisions being made on whether or not Marshawn was getting it. It was like, well, maybe they just got stuffed earlier with the same play and wanted to do play action and just throw the ball. And then it's like, well, didn't work out, did it? Marshawn didn't become the face of the – Russell Wilson became the face of the Seahawks. And that play is just something you don't even really think about. But goddamn, Marshawn Lynch scores that touchdown. We don't have to hear Patriots for, one less touchdown,
Right.
one less Super Bowl. Awesome.
Yeah, but what a game, what a call. And Marshawn didn't really get stuffed. Dante Hightower barely tackled him before he got to the goal line. And then that next play, of course, instead of calling timeout and talking about it,
Yeah, but
they
I-
let Pete Carroll cook.
I think what I was, and I did not explain this well enough, when they were in that bunch with that formation on the field, I guess earlier in the game, something. And Matt Patricia drew it out for like in the third quarter, that particular bunch, that particular personnel on the field, it didn't work, like they stuffed it. So Matt Patricia said he got a feeling that it was potentially going to be a play action instead. So they kept, I think, nickel on the field or something instead of that. And it was, one of those moves that, you look back on it and you go, God damn, Matt Patricia. Best fourth quarter coach in the history of football.
Probably.
You know what? I bet Pete Carroll sees that Lions run defense right now and goes, wow, I should have gave Marshawn Lynch the ball.
All right. At Evan Foxy.
Not lying.
He's not lying.
At Evan Foxy, diehard Lions fan. Let's get to a phone call here before we get to a break here. Brad in Hawaii. What's going on, Brad?
Ooh.
Aloha.
Hey, Pat and the boys. How you guys doing?
I'm fantastic, Brad. How are you? What part of Hawaii?
Wahoo.
Oh, nice.
Wahoo.
Nice. Wahoo. Okay.
Yeah, out here on the Marine base.
Oh, we appreciate your service. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Just want to take a quick time talking about the Bears offense. Do you guys think it's possibly like Matt Nagy's play calling, calling, screen passes and draws on like 3rd and 15 or something that's really starting to kill the Bears offense?
Yeah, that's probably it, Brad.
Goal line.
Brad, I think there's a lot of things that go into it.
He did say he is giving a partial play calling.
Yeah, which is
I don't know what that means.
an interesting move. It's always like the coaches, the head coaches that don't do any play calling are in the best spot because they can blame other people, right? Dan Quinn down in Atlanta, he wasn't calling plays. After last season, he fired all of his coaches. So it was like, well, it was them.
It's those guys.
Is that not me? It's classic save your ass, cover your ass 101 if you're a coach. And Nagy doing the play calls, there's no escape from excuse. Like he can't point the fingers elsewhere. Mike McCarthy goes down to the Cowboys. He is not calling plays. He's just hanging out. So if the offense stumbles out of the gate because he's been out of the game for a couple of years, he has the ability to say, well, Kellen Moore, son of a bitch, ain't calling a good game. Bruce Arians right now has Byron Leftwich calling plays, and they're running the offense. So if anything goes wrong, Bruce can blame Tom Brady or he can blame whoever's. There's a good I don't want to say a good idea, but a good move by head coaches is to remove yourself from blame of the offense and defense if you're not calling it. By the way, if I'm ever an NFL head coach, I'm not saying I am not calling a single play. Okay, I just want to let everybody know. Just so after the game, when I do my press conference, let's say Ty's the offense coordinator and the offense struggled today, they'll ask me a question about it, and I'll say, listen, I'll talk to him about it. I will talk to Ty about it. I want to let him know that his offense today did not work out well. I'm assuming there was a plan that they had, and they watched hours of film, and there was a reason they were doing what they're doing. But I want to let you know, I'm not satisfied with it either. And in this particular building, that's the type of shit we don't like. So I'll go talk to Ty about it. I will talk to him about it. Then next question. The defense also isn't doing great. Well, Zito, this motherfucker, listen. We're prepared. You can do a lot of that, right? So, like, I feel like that's why coaches probably do it and why they come in and don't do it. But if you're a player, you have to be like, I'd have a lot more respect if the guy, took a little bit more ownership.
Sure.
But with Nagy, that offense is stunk with and without him. So I don't know. I don't know how maybe it's the offense. Maybe Andy Reid's the only one that can run that type of offense because he's goddamn Andy Reid. Just like Sean McVay. Just because you hung out with Sean McVay, maybe you're not goddamn Sean McVay. And by the way, does the Sean McVay offense work consistently? A lot of questions to be asked whenever you're hiring an offense guru.
Do you think it's hard for Tom Brady to sometimes listen to Byron Leftwich's calls because he beat him like 5 times while Leftwich was in the league? Or do you think he just listens blindly?
I would assume, they say those who can't do coach, right? I would assume that Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady have a great respect for each other. I've never talked to either of those men. Not a once in my entire life. Now, granted, Tom Brady did send me his new shade.
Hey now!
I'm going to let you know. I don't know how many people got these shades, but I do know I'm one of them. Whoa! Where are these from? Denmark?
Yeah, I think so.
Danish.
It's a Danish product, yeah.
I'll tell you what, the goddamn Danes, I don't know how much sun they got over there, but they do it right with the sunglasses. Tom Brady and the Danes did it right.
They look good.
So although Tom and I have never spoke personally, I do have a lot of trust in his process. In Byron Leftwich, although he and I have never spoken either, I would assume that those two are getting along even more so because they played against each other. Because Byron probably speaks to him like, hey, you remember when you used to do boom, 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 you beat us by like 50? There's a lot of probably self-deprecating things that Byron can say to and Tom probably, I bet you they have a lot of respect for each other. Now, the Bruce Arians stuff about anybody can get it on that roster is very interesting. I did not expect that. I think going into this season, that was something we could not have wrote down as like things to expect in the 2020 NFL season. Bruce Arians is not going to give a single fuck about anybody at any time or anything. He will bury you. And Antonio Brown needs to get less snaps. Mike Evans was open. Fucking Tom wasn't throwing the goddamn ball. Yeah, our defense stinks. It's awesome. As like a sports show, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to hear how the inside of the locker room is handling it. People that maybe are brand new to Bruce Arians, have never been around Bruce Arians before, what it's like. But they got to figure it out. They know that. And if they don't, everybody's going to talk about it. Just like Dallas Cowboys, we have some news on them on the other side of the break. Plus, your phone calls, more of your phone calls. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Happy Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it. And your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player or maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why I, at times, have taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
You know what time it is? Mm-hmm. It's time to spoil the shit out of your dog with
Hell yeah.
BarkBox. 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. It starts as low as $22 a month for $60 worth of dog chews and toys. Wow, God. It's the best day of the month for our dogs at our homes, and when the BarkBox arrives at your house, you're going to be a hero. Our dogs just got this brand new chew toy from them. Ooh, durable son of a bitch. Because Chuck, the corgi that I have, he's an asshole. He finds the seams and he starts picking at them, ripping them apart. So then we find the innards,
fluff, just
all over
everywhere.
the place.
The guts.
And this dumbass, for how smart he is, he's a smart dog, he eats it. So then you know what happens? When he poops, the strings of that thing get in there, and the guy's just out there struggling. He looks like the Ace Ventura Pet Detective, or not Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, Jeff Daniels, whenever he's on the toilet. But he can't get anything out because the goddamn fluff's in there. So we had to move on away from the bullshit fluff ones that aren't really durable. Shout out to BarkBox, not sending the bullshit ones.
Shout out BarkBox.
Thank you.
Change our entire life.
Down the river of the Ohio.
Join now and get a free extra toy in every single box for a year. That's $60 worth of toys for free.
My God.
Sign up your pup and get unique toys and snacks, plus a free extra toy every single month. Tailored toys and treats, shipped free every single month. Start now and get $60. Unique toys, USA-made treats, free monthly delivery, and $60 in free extra toys. Yeah. You won't get $60. You get free $60 in free toys. Go to barkbox.com/Pat. BARKBOX.com/Pat. $60 worth of shit in those boxes.
They're loaded.
$22 a month only. So $38.
Well, $38 value.
No big deal.
It's a banger. 100,000 streams for these guys.
Really?
Good for them.
It's awesome.
Should be more.
I think I think if you count this one, we literally just gave them
A couple more.
one more.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Hudson River.
Come on. Mississippi River?
Ooh.
I love Mississippi.
Down the river of the Ohio. It's a good song. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. The fact that you just think any river could be their next song.
Oh, Nile River.
Is so disgusting to the amount of effort they put into their craft. The Ohio River, they're from Ohio. There's probably some sort of sentimental feeling towards that goddamn river, and you're just out here pissing on their artistic integrity.
Yeah, very disrespectful.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I understand the emotional sentiment, but other people feel that passion about other rivers, so they might hit the river market in a couple different states.
Do you ever watch like The Voice or anything?
No.
Do you ever watch anything like that?
I watched American Idol.
When they're singing,
she bangs.
I like it like
oh
that.
baby,
Yeah, she moves.
Yeah,
she moves.
See, the problem with that particular performance is he didn't believe what he was singing. Okay, if you listen to any of these voice coaches, whenever they talk to their singers, hey, you got to believe the story that you're singing. That's
right.
Okay, it's a lot more. It's a lot of acting as much as it is singing. It's buying into the words, and you're just acting like they can just pick up any phony river and act as if it's as mesmerizing as the Ohio River to them. You're a joke.
Well, listen to them.
You're an absolute
They're
joke.
talented sons of bitches. I figured they could just pick up any river and just be like, oh, okay, I can jump right into that market.
Monongahela.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a river that created the Ohio River.
That'd be a good one, too. Imagine how much stuff you could rhyme with that.
Go ahead.
Magnolia.
That rhymes with Monongahela for sure.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually pretty impressed with getting that close.
He wasn't even close.
What do you?
That wasn't even,
Monongahela?
that wasn't even
Mahogany.
close. I don't know much about rhyming, but I know that's not how rhyming works.
Very odd. Bill Hung has not made a new song since.
Yeah, he didn't believe what he was saying, and that became a real detriment to his career.
Yeah.
I think if he would have bought in on any of the stories that he was singing, I think he's potentially triple platinum, at least acrylic. What's going on, Clayton?
Hey, what's going on, boys? I hope y'all are staying beautiful over there.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to say, with all due respect, it's Reese's, not Reese's. From Hershey. From Hershey.
Yeah, okay. All right, Austin in Maryland. What's going on, Austin? What's going on, Bub?
Brother, I just wanted to talk about how I think surefire Aaron Rodgers is the MVP over Russell Wilson.
We like that on this show. We like that on this show.
I get that people love Russell Wilson, but I had to listen through a whole fucking season of people trying to tell me that Aaron Rodgers was washed last year.
Yep.
He's out here this season dropping dimes and sucking signs, and no one wants to give him the MVP he deserves, and it's pissing me off.
Yeah, I agree.
Why the hell are they sleeping on him?
Wake up! Come on! Come on now! Too much Ambien and NyQuil around these goddamn pundits sleeping on Aaron Rodgers. I think he's pretty well cemented in the MVP conversation this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they want Russell Wilson to win it, which I can respect because he's never gotten an MVP vote. And if you look at like pass percentage to by quarterbacks by position, Baker Mayfield has the highest completion percentage to running backs. Okay, in the NFL out of all quarterbacks, highest completion percentage to running backs, like 80 something, which is maybe what Stefanski should just do the entire time. It seems like if you only have a point. If you only have an 18% failure rate at something, maybe just go ahead and hammer that thing until they can stop it or whatever. But every other position, tight end, wide receiver, you name it, Russell Wilson has the highest completion percentage to all those positions in the NFL as a quarterback. So I understand that Russell Wilson is very, 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 very good at football. And the fact that he doesn't get an MVP vote shows you that most of the people that are covering the sport of football have no fucking idea what they're talking about. That is why, a lot of industries are potentially crashing at the moment right now. But with that being said, you can't discount this particular stat that involves 8 games and 40 games. And Ty, that stat is?
Well, Aaron Rodgers has only thrown 6 interceptions in that time frame.
Well, I think 8 interceptions in the last 8 games is where Russell Wilson sits. And then 8 interceptions in the last 40 games is where Aaron Rodgers sits. It's just one of those things where we agree that Russell Wilson's unbelievable at football. And maybe we'd give him a little bit more of a fight in the MVP conversations if we didn't have the greatest thing going in sports right now, which is Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. But once you start really, zoom out from the picture and you start looking at what Aaron Rodgers has done with the football team and what Aaron Rodgers does with the football, it feels like he should be up in that conversation right alongside, maybe even ahead of Russell, definitely ahead of Russell in the MVP conversation thus far. Now, a lot of things can happen. We have no idea. A lot of things can happen. In the last game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense played like they were professional football players was against the Green Bay Packers. So will that rear its ugly head against somebody else? Maybe, possibly. But what he's doing is fucking unbelievable at this point.
Well, don't you think with Russell, too, like down the stretch here, there's a chance that he's going to, like, because he's going to have to put the entire team on his back. So he might throw more interceptions, and he might fumble a couple more times because that defense can't stop anybody.
Are you talking about Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Russell Wilson's got to carry the entire team on his back this year.
Right.
No defense.
It is amazing to listen to the conversation chatter about Russell Wilson and then Aaron Rodgers. And then remember, Patrick Mahomes came along, was doing things that nobody's ever done before. And then the NFL Films is like, is that right? Here's a guy that didn't get drafted first overall like he was supposed to, fell at 22, sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years, been doing this shit for a long time. And Patrick Mahomes, unbelievable, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Greenberg said you should change the MVP award to Patrick Mahomes Award. He's only won it once. Obviously, he's not even the reigning MVP. But what he was talking about is the narrative that Patrick Mahomes is going to be tough to stop for the next 15 years. Aaron Rodgers has been doing that same goddamn thing for the last 13 years.
That's right.
But he plays for a team that doesn't have an owner. So said owner has no persuasion over media, over anything. Like maybe some other owners do, potentially get their team on primetime football every single week, or maybe get talked about in shows or other things like that. And Green Bay isn't the largest market, obviously. So maybe he's gone under the radar. But we are happy here that we put a big old spotlight on the greatness of that man as a football player and as a human.
It's about goddamn time.
It is about goddamn time.
It's about time.
And we're not saying Russell Wilson isn't a great human. God damn it, he's a great human.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you get reminded of it damn near every day.
Whoa.
He is a great human.
He's a father.
He's a great baseball player, too. If you wanted to play for the Yankees, you got to be starting at second base right fucking now.
I mean, he just wouldn't, but you know what? Yeah, we can continue to, run with that narrative.
I think the Yankees probably win the goddamn World Series this year if Russell Wilson chooses to play in that goddamn bubble down there.
Easily. A sweep. I'll say it again. The guy can't hit a fucking curveball.
How do you know?
Well, he hasn't played for a while. He hasn't played meaningful at-bats in a while. I'm guessing he can't hit a curveball.
Yeah, he can.
And you've always said, listen, Russell Wilson's your fantasy football quarterback.
He is.
And you can't hit a curveball either.
What are you going to do?
But what you're saying is the narrative that he would be the greatest baseball player is a lie?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Come on.
Hey, you see what Russell Wilson does? He spends $1 million a year off the field, by the way. Physical therapists, chefs, 2 hyperbaric chambers, by the way. Ooh. Just in case one is, I don't know why you would need to.
It's charging.
I guess you just plug that thing in there. I had one actually in my house for a little bit because the person that was running my house from me was a former teammate, and he left and just left it there. And I was like, "Yo, you left the hyperbaric chamber?" He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm not going to use it anymore. He retired." Just kind of moved on. So he left one in my house. So I tried it a couple of times. I go a little claustrophobic. I would assume his is a bit different, but those things I don't know if you need two. Like I'm not 100%. But granted, Sierra probably has one. Future probably has one. Little Future probably has one. There's probably a lot of things going on there. But yeah, Russell Wilson, I think if he wanted to be the best baseball player of all time, he would have been the best baseball player of all time.
Probably not, but hey.
That's the type of mindset. And by the way, every single interview ending with Go Yanks.
Oh, man.
Go Yanks.
Go
Yanks.
Go Yanks.
Yeah, until Steinbrenner rolled over in his grave. They did send someone down there and said, hey, cut that fucking shit out. We don't do that here.
Let's go to Keegan in California. What's going on, Keegan? Go Yanks.
Good.
Go Yanks.
Go Yanks.
Good. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Veterans Day?
Great, Keegan. Happy Veterans Day to you as well. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Thank you. I just heard a video of Kyle Brandt and Peter Schrager being a bunch of stooges and taking Tua as the Rookie of the Year after only playing like a game, like one real game, instead of like the real argument between Herbert and Burrow. And I just don't believe that Tua has like enough time in
what if Chase has 4
the game right now?
In the game? He'll have 11 touchdowns. That's a lot of fucking, which is possible, by the way. Great question, Keegan. I don't even know if it's a question, more of a take, but the Rookie of the Year conversation. And I think Good Morning Football has an obligation to the NFL to put over a lot of things, right? Like I think that is because it's on NFL Network. They obviously, I think they put over a lot of things. And Tua, his great game against Arizona, which cost me a lot of money, and I did not expect it. I don't think anybody expected it. And I just learned Chan Gailey's 78 or 86 years old. How old is he, Guppy? He's either 78 or 86.
97.
Canadian math.
Celsius, yeah.
That offense that they ran, if they're able to continue to be able to do that somehow, well, 96 Celsius, I think, would be
It's very hot.
Like 170.
Yeah, I was thinking
in
Kelvin.
America.
I'm sorry, Kelvin.
Yeah. There it is. You guys do that stupid temperature, don't you? I mean,
yeah.
But by the way, much smarter than ours. 32 is freezing here. Up there, it's 0.
He's 68, by the way.
He's 68 years old?
That's not bad.
What did I say?
86. He just,
Tua is 2-0.
He is undefeated. The first game, he had 93 yards passing, but that second game against the Arizona Cardinals, what they were able to do was awesome. And if he can do that every single game, I think we're in a good spot. Not even every single game. If he can do that the majority of games this year, that'll be awesome. The AFC East is wide open. And I know Bills fans don't want to hear that, especially coming off a 400-yard day by Josh Allen that was incredible against the Seattle Seahawks. But if they are able to do that offensively, I think the defense is coming together very, very nicely down there. Brian Flores brought in some veteran pieces that he liked for that defense, which was playing pretty well last year. They're playing very good. Special teams with Matt Hawk and Sanders are unbelievable. And if Tua in that offense can look like they looked against the Arizona Cardinals, which, by the way, I'm not sure if that's an indictment on the Cardinals defense. I guess we'll see going forward here. I think Tua should be in a conversation for Rookie of the Year, obviously.
Yeah.
He was picked number 5 overall. He played more than half the season. He should be in a conversation. But right now, what Herbert and Joey Burrow have been doing as football players is great. Chase Claypool, unbelievable. Justin Jefferson with the Vikings. There's been a lot of great rookies this year, and Tua is one of them. He should definitely be in a conversation, though. So I don't think Kyle Brandt and Schrager are stooges for that. But you also have to remember the show that you're watching, what they're talking about, and what network they're on. Mm-hmm. They have to put over, I would assume, everybody. Mm-hmm. I bet you there's owners that send emails that are like, oh, I've been watching that football morning show, and there hasn't been one statement about our blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden that message gets trickled down in there, and all of a sudden Kyle Brandt's like, God damn it, okay, well, we'll make a segment for him. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'll yell at the camera. We'll do this whole thing. It'll be
Put jersey
So
on.
I feel like they have to do a lot of that. And I respect and enjoy the hell out of that show, by the way. Very, very entertaining. And I would assume that they have a lot of guidelines on what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do.
Yeah, probably.
If Tua keeps doing it, though, right? Like if they go to the playoffs, Tua should be the Rookie of the Year.
Yes, absolutely. And wins, by the way. Yeah. Winning is a big deal. So although Gumpy say he's 2-0 power, or whatever he said back there, in the first game he wasn't really able to do anything. That game against Arizona was awesome. Tua was awesome to watch. Now, will he have the same issue that maybe Baker had where Baker would roll out to his right every single time and then defenses figured that out and then they plastered him as soon as you just basically run a little stunt to make sure he gets out of the pocket, and then as soon as you get out of the pocket, you just plaster everybody that's on that side, which is what started happening in Cleveland Browns because Baker Mayfield would roll out to his right anytime there was pressure. Feels like Tua rolling out to his left. Now, granted, it's just second game. He's a lefty. It's going to be normal. But him on the run out to his left, he was fucking unbelievable. Yeah. But teams will start using that against the Miami because you got to remember these defense coordinators and defense players are making millions of dollars as well. So who knows how it's going to pan out. But if he continues to play how he played, he should definitely be in the conversation. I don't think that's a problem at all. Let's get to the phones. Let's go to Nick in Ohio.
Down the river, Ohio.
What's going on, Nicholas?
Hello. How are y'all doing this morning?
Hey, not too shabby. What part of Ohio are you in?
Youngstown.
Youngstown, Ohio. Down there. I want to let you know. Rust Belt City right there, Youngstown. Oh, yeah. A lot of boxers, a lot of Italians, a lot of good food in there. Youngstown's a good town. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Yeah, and I am an Italian, so how y'all doing, Paisan?
Paisan, why'd you do that with the, organized crime and everything else like that? We appreciate it.
Hey, we make a pizza for y'all.
By the way, could have bet that since he was from Youngstown, he was Italian. There's a couple cities that people call in from that you're like, oh, probably an Italian. Pittsburgh is one of them. I think Pittsburgh had the densest population ratio-wise of Italians to everybody else in the entire country, right? Because I think you Italians, us Italians, sorry that I said that way. Wow. Us Italians, Nick and Diggs and Nick, you're going to have to answer this for me, kind of ended up obviously in New York where everybody came in. Then you guys got run out of town for doing whatever the hell you were doing by the Irish. Go down to Philly, I think, right? And then you got pushed out of Philly, go over to Pittsburgh because there's a lot of rivers, so we can potentially do a lot of things here. And then out of Pittsburgh, Youngstown, and then Youngstown, Chicago. Like, I think that is actually, the voyage of the Italians in America. Is that right?
It checks out besides the
that
Irish
right.
part.
Actually, I'm half Greek too. So
yeah, we got you guys out of it.
Yeah, that was quick.
You ever see Gangs of New York?
Yeah, it was real quick. We came in.
Fucking Irish came in and were like, excuse me.
Change the game.
This is our town. Welcome. Get the fuck out.
Well, the Italians went where the work is. The Irish just stayed put and sat on their ass.
Oh, whoa.
No. We changed how good the work was in New York, okay?
The Irish are just known for being a gritty group of fucking scumbags, by the way.
Booze bags.
Hey, that is a hardworking, drunk, gritty group of people.
Hell yeah.
The Irish. The Italians on the complete flip side. Incredible food. Culture's amazing.
They know how to backdoor the system.
By the way, they will flock in units. They are not really a group that will dance outside of the fam much.
No.
I mean, the Italians did something special in this country for sure.
They did.
But that is the movement. New York, Philly, Pittsburgh, Youngstown, Chicago. Anywhere else, probably not that many Italians if I had to guess. Nick, what do you want to talk about?
I was letting you do your thing. Hey, first off,
Appreciate that.
Go Pack Go as a fellow Packers fan.
Yeah.
It's always great to hear Aaron on Tuesdays, and I feel like you guys should have Bret Hart in more often on the show. I mean, I love hearing the Hitman speak, but
he's here. Hold on. I think he's here on his microphone. He can hear us too, unlike Ric Flair yesterday. I think Bret Hart can hear us right now. Actually, Bret, are you there?
Well, Nick, the Hitman always appreciates talking to his fans. Even from a place like Youngstown, Ohio, which is kind of the Canada of the U.S.
The Canada of you. Hold on, Hitman. Let's dive into that one a little
Pat,
bit.
everyone knows that Youngstown's kind of like Calgary. It's full of people that are tough. Believable, not phonies. People that when you see them work, you look at them, and guys like Nick, you say, hey, that guy Nick, his stuff is good. He's not a phony. He's not mailing it in.
Hey, Hitman, yesterday, I believe, was the anniversary of you potentially getting something done to you by some people up there in Montreal, some called a screw job. Do you still look back on that day, and do you still, would you celebrate it in any fashion, maybe? Just spit on a human like you did on Vince that night or whatever?
Pat, I've decided to let 23 years of resentment and hate kind of, go away. And after I had my stroke, thanks to that idiot Goldberg, you get kicked in the head by a guy like that. But, if it wasn't for the screw job, I never would have left. I always wanted to stay in WWE with Vince and everything else. But, history plays out the way it does. But luckily, I'm here with you guys, talking NFL, talking sports, talking Aaron Rodgers, and talking to Nick.
Haven't heard you talk NFL one time with us, but I do appreciate you potentially joining us for that conversation down the road.
Well, maybe if they'd get off their asses and bring a team up to Calgary and have something to talk about.
All right, thanks, Hitman. You're the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, pal.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Hey, you're no phony either. You're no phony either.
Pat, it's all real.
All right, Nick, sorry about that. What do you want to talk about?
You're good.
Nick, will you get to your fucking question?
Good
God, Nick.
You're good. Hey, so my question is, I'm a Michigan fan, unfortunately.
Youngstown,
Michigan.
Buddy.
I'm tired of seeing Harbaugh just lose everything. I mean, we could get beat by Helen Keller School of the Blind, for Christ's sake. But
probably some great professors, though, at that school. Do we ever dive into how the fact that she was able to learn is just mind-boggling to me. And there's a lot of people on the internet to say, no. But I choose to believe in the Helen Keller legacy of being incredible. There's people who don't, obviously, and the internet has a place for everybody. And not all those people should be heard. But if you couldn't see or hear anything, would you be able to learn a goddamn thing?
No way.
I would not be able to.
Ann Sullivan's a hero.
Annie Sullivan was her teacher? Is that who it was? I don't even know how. The more and more I read about that, the more and more I'm just baffled about how dumb of a human I am. You know what I mean?
Well, it's something to think about because she was blind. She obviously had to use Braille. So Helen Keller might have been an absolute weapon at wide receiver because of how good her hands were, too.
She probably would have been a long snapper if I had to guess.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Wide receiver could have been tough. They do have like beeping balls in other sports. I think that, I don't know if it's beeping ball. I don't know if it's a good enough beep. And I don't know if her sonar is potentially as good to catch maybe an out route. But you're right. There is a place for Helen Keller. And that's why football is the greatest sport on earth. Is there is a place on the field for everybody. Aaron Rodgers just got done talking about it yesterday. All right, we got to get to a break. This show is the worst. In the second hour, we'll break down, what team would have been best suited for Helen Keller to play.
Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Early favorites are the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the family environment there.
Oh, yeah.
But don't. I don't even know where to go.
Couldn't play with the Packers, too. I mean, Rodgers would just put it right on her chest.
I was going to say, yeah, she wouldn't even have to, just run with your arms out like this, and Rodgers would just fit it in there like a keyhole.
All right. We got a lot of sports stuff to cover in the second hour, okay? More phone calls, more sports stuff. Stuff that you can only hear on this particular show. We'll give you a poll update from Zito's Big Poll. I mean, we have a great Veterans Day going on. For the next 6 minutes, once this break starts, why don't you thank a veteran, why don't you take a shit, and why don't you get ready for the most electric hour of sports talk in history, right here on Channel 82, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. whenever you eat Arby's here in the next 2 days, which we would recommend you doing so, use the hashtag Arby's is great, and you automatically be entered in to win this exact meat sweatsuit that our guy Zito is wearing right now. That smokehouse fucking brisket I had this morning.
Again, I thought you went down to a local steakhouse.
That should not be available to be delivered to your house.
No.
I
Delicious.
cannot believe that we have a partnership with Arby's. But
Awesome.
insane. It's very dumb.
Cousins crushing it.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God! Best sign spinner in the world! At least now he says, that was unbelievable.
Bro, no. Thank you for what you just did right there. What's your name?
Mike.
Mike, where you from?
Right here in Los Angeles.
That was fucking awesome to watch. Good luck out there. They should be paying you more.
Tune in for the World Sign Spinning Championship in Vegas.
There's a World Sign Spinning Championship?
In Vegas.
Are you like a national, are you a champion?
I rank.
You rank? What do you rank?
I got 8th in the 2013 Olympic States.
What do we have to do to get better? How do we get to first place? What's the new move? What's the new move? Maybe light it on fire.
Well, Legal proof I have is this one.
Oh! Please now! Oh my God!
If I was getting to the end with the kickflip, I don't know how you're 8th in the world. You should be number 1. And if I was leasing a place, I'm fucking coming here. Oh my. Since 5:30 a.m. right now. Had incredible meetings though with the Memphis coaches and the Navy offensive coordinator. I recorded a podcast too. I mean, we got nothing but time. Nice dinner for Hasselbeck's birthday. This is my fault. I might be sleeping in the truck. It never ends, dude. I honestly don't know how it happens. You have a room?
Yeah, it's a big room.
You have a good room? It's nice. Take care of the boys. You know what I mean? I'll sleep on the street out here. I'll go busking with a guitar like I'm the next fucking Elvis. You know what I mean? I'll earn my way. This does seem to always happen though. Are these couches available? That's my pillow too. I'm gonna need it because I'm gonna be sleeping on a fucking bench. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and brush my teeth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
No big deal. Just walking the streets of Memphis with my sack here and my pillow. Walking in Memphis with no room to sleep in tonight. Walking in Memphis. Right now I can fall asleep, but I fight. Walking in Memphis. Instagram models posing on stairs. Walking in Memphis. A couple methods right over there. My last hotel didn't have a room for me.
Baby, we have a room for you. Come on.
Hold up.
Do they set up a room for you already? I found you, baby. I got you. I got you. I got you today.
It's hour 14.
Y'all take care of Patrick, all right?
Boys, huh? King of the castle. Look, a view of the pool. All right, so now I gotta go to a production dinner and then record a podcast. Let's go ahead and do this. Just going, dude. I mean, honestly, today's tomorrow. Tomorrow was yesterday. You know, it just all kind of runs together. It's kind of a long walk. Are you kidding? Yeah, it's a palace. It's got 2 bathrooms. We're going all night long.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 2 on the 11th day of the 11th month here on Sirius XM begins right now. Happy Veterans Day. Open the show with it, obviously. Very thankful for the vets. Doesn't matter if you're for the war or against the war, you should be for the warrior. That's kind of our message, narrative, and belief and motto. And I take a lot of pride in the work that I've done with the military. So, big day. Go ahead and buy some coffee or a meal for an American badass that signed a line saying, hey, I'll go do what we got to do. And we are very, very grateful for that. First hour, we had a lot of conversations, obviously. Helen Keller playing football was one of them. It was an electrifying conversation. And a very interesting conversation. But we didn't cover everything that happens in the sports world. And sometimes that's because we don't appear as a real sports world, because sometimes we don't have a sidebar that we can... The top one on our sidebar today that we put together before the show, but we rarely use, is Jerry Jones loves Dak Prescott. This is a very interesting thing that has come about because the conversation about the Dallas Cowboys this year is one, obviously, they stink, right? I mean, they're bad at football. Now, Gary Gilbert and Dallas Cowboys almost beat Pittsburgh Steelers, who are currently undefeated. So any given Sunday, maybe the Cowboys can snap out of it and be a good football team. But after losing Dak Prescott, after Dak Prescott could not come to an agreement with the Dallas Cowboys on a long-term deal, he got franchise tagged, and signing everybody else to a lot of money, and then bringing in Mike McCarthy, and the overall stagnant offense and bad football play and leaks from the locker room, is that place is a pretty toxic place. And you would think that since you signed Mike McCarthy for the long term, and he's kind of going to be your guy, that there's a chance, if the locker room is turned on him already 6 weeks into this thing and he's going to be the guy you build around, there's a chance a rebuild could potentially happen down in Dallas. Now, how would you do that with the massive contracts that you've already handed out? Will you be able to trade those players away, or will you hang on around them and then build around them? That's all to be determined. But the one conversation was, will Dak Prescott be a Dallas Cowboy next year? Now, we all believe that Dak Prescott will get paid a lot of money to play quarterback somewhere next year. Now, granted, who knows what the quarterback market's going to be like. If it's anything like it was last year, that could kind of put a little bit of a wrinkle into things. But we all believe Dak Prescott's going to get a long-term deal, especially with how the Cowboys have looked since Dak Prescott has left. Dak Prescott's importance to the Dallas Cowboys is being showcased even more. But would Dak Prescott be a Dallas Cowboy? Would Dak Prescott sign that long-term deal with the Dallas Cowboys, especially if the Dallas Cowboys are thinking about potentially rebuilding everything they got inside of that around Mike McCarthy's ideals, his guys, and everything like that? That's a fair conversation to be had, especially whenever things are getting leaked to media people week 6 into things about how dumb the coaches are and how bad the coaches are. You can see how the coaches potentially go like, oh, let's get all these motherfuckers out of here. Let's see what we can do with that. Now, it has come out, and Jerry Jones was asked about this just yesterday on a radio show, and his answer was very defiant, and one I think that will hopefully put that conversation to bed on whether or not Dak will be a Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, it looks like we're in line for the 3rd pick. Now, it could move up, could move down, but if it stays at 3, is it crazy to bring up the idea of taking a quarterback with the 3rd pick or the 2nd pick if you may have it?
Yes. You asked me if it's crazy to bring the idea up, and I'm answering you, yes. We're playing games here, guys, but it's not the thing to be talking about at all. Dak is our quarterback.
Yeah, last time he talked to this particular host, I think he told him to shut up and let him answer. Yep. That's why the host laughed alongside him there. I think he's trying to, potentially, because that host, by the way, gets great answers out of Jerry every single week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who that host is. I don't know where that's from, but I want to let them know that we appreciate them every single week. They give us something out of Jerry that the world would like to know the answer to. So it might seem uncomfortable in the time to ask the question to Jerry the way you have to do it. And I understand sometimes you have to sell the laugh with a ha-ha to let him know, however you get the answer is cool. But it is interesting to hear Jerry go, Dak is our quarterback, because Jerry said that last year. Jerry said that, I think, the year before, Dak is our quarterback. Dak is our quarterback. I just want to win games. Dak is our quarterback. And no long-term deal was ever signed. Now, Dak's getting $33 million or something this year, guaranteed. I think it goes up to $37 million if he gets franchise tagged again next year. So Dak is making a lot of money, but that long-term wealth hasn't been figured out between Jerry and Dak. Jerry comes out and says Dak's our quarterback for the future. That means he's going to have to pay him. With the salary cap going down, how the fuck is he going to pay Dak while paying everybody else? Will he be able to do Andy Reid Veach this thing like they've been able to in the Chiefs? And what's the future of the Dallas Cowboys? It has Dak Prescott in it, we just learned, but everything else around it, how will they be able to figure out? Nobody knows, which is awesome that the national televised game every single weekend that involves the Dallas Cowboys will continue to be a reality show for years to come. Congrats to America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah! This is ultimately just bullshit lip service, right?
Yeah, sure does feel like it.
He says this to everyone but Dak. So, and if I were Dak, wouldn't you be like, okay, I want $60 million next year. You guys fucking suck without me. You're the laughing stock of the NFL. It just, I don't know. I don't think Dak's going to be a Cowboy.
And by the way, Dak hired an agent last year, or going into last year, or maybe 2 years ago, or maybe his agent altogether. I don't remember. It came in, which is the agent that is not hey, team-friendly deal. Hey, you're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to get a lot of marketing opportunities because I'm the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. That's on national TV every single weekend. His agent's no, we're getting every fucking dollar from these people. And it's hey, shout out to Dak for being able to say, because we talked about how there was a contract for 150 or 200, I forget what it was, 230, whatever. It was a big number. It was on the contract. It was placed on a piece of paper in front of Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott and his people looked at him and were like, get that fucking shit out of here. The fact that they have that ability and that type of business motto, hey, we're going to get every dollar we can, I think it leads to a pretty intriguing conversation. Now, will Dak get franchise tagged again? Possibly. But I think Jerry saying Dak's a Cowboy for life is very interesting, because is Dak saying that? Are Dak's people saying that? Dak might be saying that, but how about Dak's people saying that? It's going to be an interesting situation. And for a show that goes live every single day for 3 hours, I'm very happy that that's going to be happening, because that's going to give us a lot of shit to talk about for a week and a half whenever that thing gets really contentious, which it inevitably will. And who knows how it all gets played out.
If I'm looking at the other side, though, Dak's very good. I'm a big fan of Dak. But you could go.
Boy.
I mean, they've gone 8-8. The past fucking 3 years with Dak? Why not go 8-8 without Dak and not have to pay a quarterback close to $40 million?
Well, Diggs, what you just said there is why the question was asked, because that is a very real thing. And Jerry, whenever he was asked about Dak Prescott's contract last year at a
Salvation Army
event, he said, we'll worry, my hands don't get cramps writing checks. I just want to win some games. And so I think Jerry's big thing is hey, let's win some games here. And I would assume with Dak being 8-8, 9-7, 8-8, 9-7, for whatever reason, by the way, might not be Dak's fault at all. Probably not. And I think if we're seeing anything, definitely not looking at how it's all going now. But Jerry, I don't know. For instance, Mac Jones. If Mac Jones is sitting there, or the Zach Wilson kid from BYU, or the kid from North Dakota, whatever his name is, or any of them are sitting at 3. And Jerry, by the way, for all of people's flaws about Jerry, he does well drafting. Jerry Jones does well draft. It very rarely comes out that the Dallas Cowboys had a bad draft, right? It seems like he will pull the trigger on a good player. This year, who was it? It was CeeDee Lamb. And there was no reason that he should have been still sitting there. No. He makes a draft from his yacht down in Miami or whatever. Awesome. So it's what will they do? And does anything that any person that's involved in the NFL decision-making, anything that they say matter? No. because they will change their tune or idea immediately upon being presented with a new set of circumstances. And if they're sitting at 3, and for some reason the number 2 overall team has a quarterback, and they take fucking Pitts from the tight end from Florida, or a defensive end or something like that who's a game changer, and you're staring down Justin Fields potentially available, what do you do then? And do you blame them for taking him whenever Dak's going to go get $200 million from somewhere else? I don't know. And does Dak want to be there? I mean, there are so many things that have to weigh out. That's why that person asking Jerry Jones that question is awesome. And that's also why the answer from Jerry means absolutely jack squat here on November 11th, 2020.
And to your point there, maybe that another team won't need a quarterback. There's 8 teams with 2 wins or less. Cincy doesn't need a quarterback. Houston doesn't need a quarterback. Chargers don't need a quarterback. The Giants, you don't know what they would do. And then Jacksonville and the Jets.
Are you saying you're out on Danny Dimes?
I'm not saying I'm out on Danny Dimes.
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah. Kyle Long, former Chicago Bear.
Bear done.
Has he ever been on the show? No, he hasn't.
I don't think so.
No, he had his brother.
I think his brother's been on the show.
Oh, yeah,
Chris, good, great on the show.
Yeah.
On the show, yeah.
Great conversations. We're very thankful. I've asked Kyle to be on the show a couple times.
Huh.
I don't know what happened. I think he was always busy or whatever. He was on CBS this past weekend. He does a Sunday show on CBS. And he had a very clever line. He saw a lot of people calling him Danny Dimes. I call him Daniel Loans because he loans the ball to the other team all the time.
Ooh, classic Kyle.
Got a very good pop out of me in my bed whenever I was watching it on my on I think it was Twitter. I laughed pretty hard and I was like, "That's true. Son of a bitch turns the ball over a lot," which is the same exact conversation we were having about Jameis Winston last year. Whenever all of his numbers were big, which they were, and he led the NFL and all this stuff. If you're a franchise, you're an organization, and you know that basically the most important stat to winning a game is the turnover margin, and your quarterback that you're potentially going to have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to is a turnover machine, it's tough to invest that type of money into them. And will Danny Loans turn into that? I hope not, because it feels like he's been surrounded with people that shouldn't be in the NFL for a large majority of his NFL career, and he has a chance to be great potentially, but every quarterback does. So you're right. With the old Giants, who knows what decision they'll make? Because,
or the Jets. I assume they will go with.
How about the GM sleeping? That was awesome.
Oh,
He doesn't care.
That was awesome.
He doesn't want. He just doesn't want to watch it.
Oh, gee.
He's sitting up in his suite, mask on, okay, and appears to be asleep. Now, that might have been doctored footage. It might have been in slow motion.
He was snoozing.
Maybe he wasn't down for that long, and maybe they just so happened to catch him in the middle of a prayer. Maybe he was praying for the team.
Please, Flacco.
People forget that maybe he was praying for that win, to get a win, so that the Patriots are the team they beat to stop their completely defeated run that they were on. So maybe that was the case. But it did look like he was snoozing. I wonder if the writing's on the wall for him as well. GMs also know that there's a chance they're probably gone as well, but who knows? Sleeping during a game is tough, especially if they catch you on TV. I mean, if you get caught on the internet as a fan sleeping, you get caught. Let alone if you're the general manager of the fucking team.
Yeah.
Just passed out. Now, I can see it, though, because MetLife Stadium being empty is a bit of a drag.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a drag.
Do you think there's any chance that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, because of how good they are, that their rookie contracts are kind of higher than we've seen, like 40 or 50 million? Or
It's already set.
Oh, at 36? That's the max?
No, I don't know if 36 is the max. Their contracts they're already slotted.
Okay.
Boom. Here it is, CBA, NFLPA, and the NFL agreed on it. Here it is, bang, bang, bang. That's why the thought of a lot of seniors having football agents is kind of stupid. Now, granted, they can work guarantees and when you get the money and all that type of shit, because you saw a holdout, I think, between Bosa and the Chargers, and there's always some sort of conversation. But those contracts are mostly slotted. Here's exactly what you're going to get. Here's what it is. It's based on the salary cap. So next year, those guys probably get less, by the way, because the salary cap's going down than they were supposed to. So I think that whole thing is already decided. So the agents, I guess, they earn their 3% commission, which is the highest that they're allowed to earn on NFL contracts, which is a good little rule the NFLPA put in there on the guarantees and things like that. But a lot of those guys could get those deals done without an agent because it's already been figured out. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank God for the Jets. If I was Trevor Lawrence, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll be your quarterback. Give me $100 million.
Yeah, but
Can't do that.
you would be hated by basically every other NFL player if that was happening. But hey, as long as you get yours, though, who gives a goddamn?
And if he goes out and he plays like $100 million quarterback, then it's like, okay. Well,
how's he going to play like a $100 million quarterback if your rookie quarterback that you draft eats up your entire salary cap?
He better be damn good at throwing the football.
Let's go to Big Sal. Oh, not to be confused with Uncle Sal in Oklahoma. Big Sal, what's going on, pal?
Boys, how we fucking doing today?
I like this guy. Yeah, I like Big Sal. Big Sal, bring the juice.
Happy fucking Veterans Day.
Boy, Big Sal. What do you want to talk about, bub?
I want to talk about the Titans' defense coming from last week, beating the shit out of the Bears. Bear down, Hansi. Fucking gout, eh? Anyways, this coming week, coming up against the Colts offense, I just need to know. I would ask Tone, Choo-Choo, get the fuck off the tracks, Diggs over yonder, you know what I'm saying? But he's retired from the fantasy game, so do you start Titans defense against the Colts?
Great question, Big Sal. Good little run there, good energy. Got a couple good, inside our community jokes in there too, which we appreciate a lot. Big Sal, thanks for following along. We appreciate that. Diggs has retired from giving fantasy advice because he doesn't have enough time in the day to help everybody.
Right.
He said that it hurts his heart too much whenever he can't help every fantasy person that wants advice. But we do have a new person in the office that has stepped up and said, hey, I would like to be the fantasy expert because he has run fantasy football leagues. And that's the man whose team is the Detroit Lions, at Evan Fox, our new fantasy expert. If you were Big Sal there, would you be playing the Titans defense against this Phillip Rivers offense, or would you potentially be looking to sit somebody, bench somebody, and bring out somebody else in?
Yeah, I didn't hear what Big Sal said. If he is a Tennessee Titans fan, you definitely start the Titans because you like watching your team, so you got to have a guy in the race. Also, if you have no one else playing on Thursday night on your fantasy team, then you got to have someone in the race. You got to have someone to watch, so you start that Titans D.
I mean, fantasy football, Fox
stinks at fantasy.
What are you talking about?
He's playing players just because he needs someone to watch.
You said I'm our fantasy guy.
Yeah, you said that you were our fantasy guy. I am relaying the message that came out of your mouth.
He's got the motive. I'm 2-7. All right, I'm having a rough year, but I only pick guys that like your guys. That's what I do. So, and if you don't have a horse in the race on Thursday Night Football, you start that Titans D.
Yeah, that's why you're 2-7.
What are you talking about?
You can't just start some guys in your lineup just because you want to watch them play.
That's embarrassing.
I would like to nominate, again, Tone Diggs as the fantasy guru. He's currently in first place in our fantasy.
Tony Diggs. Fantasy.
I didn't retire because I'm not good. I just retired because I can't help everybody. What that guy fucking said, you should never listen to.
Fox? Yeah. It doesn't matter if your fantasy team has a horse in the race. That's what sports gambling is for, not fantasy football. But whenever you talk about the Tennessee Titans defense, it's interesting because Phillip Rivers could turn the ball over 7 times on Thursday night. By the way, after the 5th one, he will go right back out there and do it again, which is why Phillip Rivers is awesome. But that Titans defense also faces an offense that can get going if they want. A lot of dink and dunk. I think you look at potentially how they performed against teams that are similar to the Phillip Rivers style. They got a lot of backs in the backfield in Indy. I don't know if T.Y.'s playing. I don't know if Jack Doyle's playing. I think you potentially do start that Tennessee Titans defense, but who knows what their special team is going to be like. Is Brett Kern back or not? What's going on, Gumpy?
The Colts have played one team with a positive point differential. It was the Ravens last week, and they got smacked in the math. And the Titans are plus 31 this year.
Huh. What does that fucking mean, guy?
Just stats, baby.
So we're starting the Titans.
Seems like
fantasy football.
For whatever reason, Foxy did say start the Titans.
There we go.
There we go. We'll see how it does. We'll see if you're still the fantasy football guru that you claim to be. He did. I saw a video. He put an entire video together pitching how good he is at fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that is something that you did, Foxy, not us.
Good video. Like 6 years ago.
It was, but
he still said it.
Even more, you did say it. Diggs, are you like really trying to fantasy football, huh?
Yeah. There's a lot of money on the line.
You have to.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort, though, right? Like, it's a lot of this, a lot of
it's
that.
like an hour a week.
Who has an hour?
It's a lot of effort. That's
I'll tell you
I
what, Diggs. Wait until we pick up your workload a little bit.
Ooh.
Diggs isn't going to have an hour. No, I'm joking. You should run a league, though. Why don't you run a league where we can have people join it? Can't that something you can do?
I mean, we tried to do that in this office, and no one tried. So.
No, but I'm saying not us. I'm talking like other people can play. Because I think there are a lot of fantasy football people that listen to the show because I made a comment about their community, and I saw a lot of tweets come back at me like, hey, I like to show, I play fantasy or whatever. I think it's a pretty large, I've never understood it. I don't fully understand it, but it's a loyal and active bunch, and you got to do a lot. It takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yep. I mean, like I said, like an hour a week, maybe.
Yeah, but all right.
Give us advice, Tone.
It does, because if a player gets hurt, week-to-week basis, if you got someone like Chris Godwin, you got to find a replacement.
There's real money on the line in this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's week-to-week, too, like highest point scorer
One of
of
ours
the week.
gets like $2,000. So
yeah.
Oh, let's go. Get in. And the loser has to run, a beer mile and a beer this and a beer that. Tattoo. Are you guys getting a tattoo this year, Nick? Is that what you're going to do? That's what I heard.
No.
That's right. Nick, what, are you in last place
No,
again?
I'm not in last. I'm 4-5. I'm right in the meat right there, battling for a playoff
Oh,
spot,
Fantasy
battling for a
Nick.
wild card.
Fantasy Nick, maybe.
Here we go.
How many people are in this league?
12.
And everybody paid? Mm-hmm. Does the commissioner keep any of the money for future games?
Do you guys have a banquet at the end of the season? Or?
Do you
We have
from the
trophy.
top?
We have a trophy.
There's a trophy. Is there a presentation? Did COVID get in the way of the presentation?
Probably.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's why it's just fantasy, Because until it's reality, what are we doing? Let's go to Logan in Maryland. Last call here before we got to get to a break. We have an NFL Live host joining us on the other side. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Pat and the boys. How we doing today?
Not too shabby. Hey, crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does. What's going on, bub?
Well, my question to you, Pat, seeing as this is an individual accomplishment, what was the feeling that you got when you won the punt, pass, and kick national championship?
Yeah, great question, Logan. It was great, obviously. It was awesome. It was on TV. All the teachers in our high school that hated me had to fucking watch me while the Steelers played, and I'm just throwing a shocker on television. I mean, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And then our high school was so nice. They actually they re-gifted me the trophy that the punt, pass, and kick gave me at the halftime of a basketball game. That I had to show up with the trophy. I had to walk in, obviously, to the basketball game with the trophy, hand it over to the athletic director in front of everybody, by the way. This is not behind closed doors. And then at halftime, they announced me, congratulations, and they re-give me the punt, pass, and kick trophy or whatever. It was a good time. I had to stumble out of the student section to go get it. It was a great time. We had an absolute blast.
I would like to know how A.J. Hawk felt coming in fourth and looking at somebody else getting the trophy.
Well, I'll tell you what, whenever you make it to the finals, it's pretty cool. I mean, as like a 13-year-old or whatever it was. It's a pretty cool thing.
How far did you throw it? Do you remember?
It was 50-something.
60.
It might have been 60, though, yeah. It's a smaller, but it was 50-something. The thing about it is I hit the fucking tape measure. So, like, the name of the game, punt, pass, and kick, is you kick it, and then however far off the tape measure is, they measure that, and then they subtract it from the distance. Mm-hmm. So, like, the one guy, his name's PJ. He actually went on to punt at Alabama.
Ooh,
He was representing the Miami Dolphins. I think he's from Fort Lauderdale. Really good guy. One of his either slipped or something happened. He was very good, very athletic. He potentially, I think, could have. But one thing either slipped off his hand or something, and it was a big subtraction. You know what I mean? Mine just so happened that day, just plunk on the tape measure, plunk on the tape measure, plunk on the tape measure. And it was just like,
how you doing?
He's on fire, dude. This kid just won. And it was awesome. We did it in Tennessee Titans practice facility, and in warm-ups, I was just punting it off the top of their bubble. And I was like trying. I'm sure Tim was looking around at the other kids and their parents like, oh, this fucking guy's got to be 25 years old. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, national champion, no big deal. I think I have the record, too. I don't know how anybody's going to beat it. I mean, if you just hit the tape measure every single time, there's no way you can be, especially if you have, I put on a fucking show. It was a great time, man. Thanks for asking.
Was the record you broke Andy Reid's?
I think it was Peyton. I think Peyton had a record. Really? Like that. Yeah, I forget. Because, when you show up at a golf course, you go, what's course record?
Yeah.
Like, whenever we showed up at that, we what's the record? Just like as an asshole question. I think they told us, and he went on this long story. And then, like, after, I think they had us do the kick first. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember the order. But after, like, the first two, like, that conversation I had with whoever was like, I'm like, I think I can go fucking get this thing here. Because they measure it in feet. So if... I think I won by like 160 feet or something.
Jesus.
It was like one of the biggest and I got so lucky. This is a trend in my life, is that I just happen to get very lucky on like the biggest stages, except for 13-9 game against Pitt. Fucking those balls could have just won through the uprights. That should have been, if you go with how fucking fortunate and lucky I've been throughout, that's the one night where you look back on it and you go, where were you there?
Don't have some bad luck. How do you know it's good luck?
Hey, bingo. If it wasn't for the rain, how do you respect the sun?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Veterans Day. We got to get to a break here. Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Mina Kimes of ESPN's NFL Live joins us on the other side. Can't wait to chat with her. Join us then. Go take a piss. Cheers.
We have no idea how to do the subway system, but Z is doing the directing, the mapping, the planning. Well, my tower is in 10 minutes. That train should be ready. He knew his shit. He said it's went that way. This is Zito guided tour. We're not gonna get spot on the train. We should get on an Uber. This was a bad idea. This was a bad decision. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's gonna be interesting, isn't it?
Are we on the right way to Yankee Stadium right now? To the Bronx.
I don't like that hesitancy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
New York it's a bit much. There's shit everywhere. It smells like shit. There's a lot of people, but it's a hell of an industry out here, you know.
Thank you so much.
Hey, let's go now, Yanks. So what do we say now, Kanaki?
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. Out of the darkness I rose up. Golden my soul, it's a gold rush. Yeah. Honor and freedom, I toast up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Right on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms individually. I heard the voices that told us. Yeah. No dirt on my name and wish me the worst and stole us. Yeah. Shot through the heart and pray on my downfall. But yes, he prevailed on my outback. Stay on top of the chest like Olympic gold. Rapids move on the field like a jazz song. Witness greatness, look up in LeBron home. Remember next time for you doubt us. That only made me go.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Let's go! It's just so good every time. Welcome back to the show. Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, and obviously on YouTube. I have to go. I like to go. Oh. Don't Leave Me Lonely here by Late Night Special Band. Joining us now is one of the co-hosts of NFL Live. She has her own podcast, and at Yale she was
summa cum laude,
which means the smartest. I normally only like to talk to valedictorians, but joining us now, Mina Kimes. How's it going, Mina?
I was my high school valedictorian.
Boom.
Wow.
See, I knew why this happened. What did you study at Yale, and what does that
summa cum laude?
What does that mean exactly, and how does that work? I did not graduate college, obviously. I did not graduate. That means you're up there. Do you have the sweet tassels on graduation day?
No, it's just a GPA thing. So, like, if you finish in the top X% of your GPA, they assign it to you.
Whoa.
So,
What is the X? What is the X factor there? What is the exponent of the percentage? It's top 1%, isn't it?
I don't know, actually.
You know, Mina. You should know, by the way. If I was
summa cum laude,
I'd be like, listen, top 0.5%. Fucking Yale, dude.
Yeah.
Good for you. Congratulations. Your sports career, though, has been incredible to watch. Now you're co-host of NFL Live, which I would assume is a dream job for everybody in there. NFL Live is one of the constants at ESPN. How have you been enjoying that? What has been your biggest takeaway from the year hosting a daily show about the NFL?
Ooh. I love it. I adore it. Speaking of adoring, everybody on that show absolutely adores you.
Oh,
Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky.
Good people over there. Hey, you guys got
You're
good
a big
people.
fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of you guys too. We watch it every single day. Now, Orlovsky says some very dumb things sometimes, but we are big fans of the show. Swagoo's our guy as well.
He's everybody's guy. He's like the most likable human on earth, I think. Like, you know, Q rating, I feel like his Q rating is off the charts. I actually, by the way, Pat, I forgot that I was coming on your show today, and I think like minutes before you tweeted that, I tweeted something about how you should never punt in opponent territory, not realizing that might be an insult to you or interpreted. I don't know how you feel about that. It's not an anti-punting stance.
Sure sounded like
it's more of an aggressive stance. I don't know if you saw that, but I was a little bit nervous that you saw it right before I came on.
Well, I think it was a little bit of an aggressive punter stance that you had right there. But I think with the analytics and the data and the efficiency of offenses, and I think somebody wrote this at the Ringer this morning too, and sorry for not giving, the efficiency of offenses has made the decision to go for it on fourth down in plus territory like a much greater success rate than pinning somebody and getting them to stop. So I think that's an accurate take. I'm not against it. Wow. I mean, I do love watching a man go out there and pin somebody deep. Boy, that scratches me where I itch. But also, I like seeing an aggressive coach that wants to win the game, and I think the players like it too. So I'm on your side here, Mina. Don't you worry about that. I'm on your side for that. Has that been something? Do you do big analytics data dives? Is that something you do? Is that your style?
Yeah, I'm kind of the analytics, like the nerd representative on the show, I would say. But I've converted. Like Marcus has said, he's really come around to my takes, which are sort of influenced by numbers. You know, it's very pro passing on early downs, very pro going for it, which it sounds like you're on board with as well. Sometimes we'll be at a stance where like we're kind of looking at, okay, should the team go for 2 here? Should they go for it? And I think as a network, we're now, much like coaches in the NFL, are listening more to what the numbers tell us. But it's important to remember, numbers are just a tool. It's just another piece of information. It's like knowing, do I have a running back who's been successful in short yardage situations? It's just another thing to consider when you're making these calls. And so I think everyone's sort of coming around to it, but really the nerds and the tape grinders are coming together. That's the goal of our show, is to bring everyone together.
Oh, yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job, by the way. It's an enjoyable watch every single day. I will say, unless it's 100%, I don't want to fucking hear it, Mina. Okay? That's what I don't I'm joking.
You're out.
I'm joking.
You're out.
I'm joking. No, I'm a big stats and analytics guy. Everybody knows that. They call me Statty Patty every once in a while whenever I get into it, because I think it is a weapon. Like, I do believe bringing in the super smart humans of our world into sport. I think there's a lot of feel that still has to be in the game. I think there's a lot of that. But I think as the analytics and data become more prevalent, I think it's been helping people make much better decisions. But some people live and die by the analytics with zero feel. And I feel like even the super numbers people got to be like, you got to also have some feel for what's going on in the game, right?
I think, and on the other side, there are some people who are like just completely reject it, right, altogether. And I think, I feel like we could be talking about our country right now, but I feel like being extreme is not the way to go. It's good to consider all information. That's what the smart coaches do. That's what like a John Harbaugh does, or Bill Belichick, even though he pretends like he doesn't. They're all considering all of that. It is a shame, though, again, to bring it back to the punters. The article you were talking about, I did read this morning. It was by Nora Princiati. It's superb. And she talked about how the punters now are just kind of like hanging out on the sidelines. And you've got a team like the Saints who have the best third down conversion percentage in the NFL. But sadly, they also have one of, I believe, the 3 best punters in the NFL in Thomas Morstead. So he just has to sit there and watch, and it feels like a little bit of a waste.
How did you, as a super nerd, fall in love with football? I mean, obviously, that's probably a question you hear a lot, but whenever you talk on NFL Live, whenever you're on your podcast, whenever you're talking now, it's obvious that you are like a diehard football fan. How did that come to be? Because a lot of nerds, I would assume in the
summa cum laude
world, hate football, I would assume. So I don't know how did you become like a diehard fan of football? And by the way, thank you for making our football world a better one with a bigger brain and everything like that.
I was born. I didn't come out the womb, but I'm a Seahawks fan. My dad was crazy about the Seahawks. So growing up, like a lot of people, that was my induction into football. You know, a lot of my earliest memories are just watching Seahawks football with him. So I didn't come through it being interested in the stats and the dots and the numbers. I will say, being like a bit of an outsider, and I think you can relate to this as well, the stats, in the same way that I feel like the internet like kind of rose up and embraced you, the stats community really lifted me up and helped me come into football. And it's a way for them, sometimes for people who didn't play the game, I think, to get into it and bring some expertise into it, even though most of the time I'm not really talking about stats, I'm just talking about the tape and the matchups, but they were really welcoming to me, you know, early on. And so I'm a Seahawks fan. I try not to be a homer, which is hard when you got a Super Bowl tattoo. But that, like most people, I think fandom really is what brought me to the game.
Well, as an analytics person, you know that Aaron Rodgers should win the MVP this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
You know
I didn't. I'm telling you what analytics people are saying. That's what analytics people have been saying, not me.
Analytics bear it out.
The stats people kind of boosting you and being like, hey, we wouldn't mind if this human represented us on television or anything like that. I would assume, and this is just from my work on ESPN and the amount of hate that I get. The amount of hate that I get from the standard ESPN fan is...
Really?
Oh, Mina, they hate me. Oh, my God. Now, granted, I think I've potentially won some over here as my time on ESPN has come more and more. But, boy, at the beginning and even now, whenever I hop into College Game Day and I just start swinging this thing, I mean, people get mad about it, right? So I would assume that whenever you... it shouldn't. I mean, I swing a hammer, I yell loud. I mean, there's a lot of, you can see how some people would hate me. I would assume that you catch some backlash from some ESPN fans. And how do you deal with that? And do you just know deep down that those people are stooges like I do?
Yeah, I got better at it, right? I try to follow that old adage, don't take criticism from anyone you wouldn't take advice from. It's hard sometimes when the criticism is so pointed, and I know you feel it too. I've seen you clap back a little bit, you know, but
you have to, Mina. You have to.
First of all, it's funny. Like, if I can make a joke, I'm gonna fucking clap. Okay.
Yes, you have to. Too many people say no. It's like, I enjoy by the way, as a punter, I couldn't talk a lot of shit for a long time, but now I got some stooge in his basement tweet me. It's like, oh, you don't think I have time to go through your Twitter account and learn about you? I do. Let's go ahead and do this. And everybody's like, take the high road, Pat. It's like, well, what about the fun road? Like, I would like to go.
Road,
yeah, exactly.
Especially if somebody is like setting themselves up to be dunked on, and like that tasty alley-oop is right. Like, I can't resist sometimes, but I think it is, you have to really remember it is a minority, because I think part of the reason people really like you, Pat, respond to you, and I try to embody this as well, and I think our show, NFL Live, does, is football is fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say shows, but a lot of people, they talk about it, they treat it like it's like church. It's not. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. People want to watch people who actually look like they love it and are enjoying it. And It's why people love Tony Romo, by the way. It's not because he can predict plays. It's because he actually looks like he's fucking enjoying himself on television.
Listen.
And so I try to embody that. I think you do too. And I try to remember that most people want to watch that.
Football is a celebration. Sports are a celebration. And I think that was the big thing whenever I retired. I learned quickly while watching the games. It sounded like everybody was miserable covering the game. It's like, yo, sports are like an escape. Like, hey, this is supposed to be a good time. And that's why, I do enjoy the vibe of the NFL Live show. And I think people enjoy our show. Tony Romo did have that there for a while. A lot of people have turned on Tony Romo, though, Mina. I'm not saying they should have. A lot of people have turned on Tony Romo.
Who's turning on him?
Not us. Not us.
The masses, though.
Not us.
Not me.
No,
God forbid he looks like he's enjoying watching a football game. That's so stupid.
Sure. Some people are saying that he's acting almost like he was a summa cum laude.
Oh, yeah.
Talking down to a lot of people are saying that that's potentially what he's doing. We're not saying that. Mina, that is not us.
No.
We are just a
He's also
relayer.
very good and underrated, which he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks of our time. But that's
people say people are rated exactly where they're supposed to be. Not me. I want to say I am a Tony Romo fan. I am just relaying messages I've seen on the internet, which is what my job is on a daily basis. Mina, a couple guys had a question for you. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Mina, on the set of NFL Live, have there ever been any takes that Dan Orlovsky has given, whether it be on air or off air, that make you want to smack him in the mouth? I'll go first. It's every time he talks.
I love Dan. Speaking of dunking, Dan's complete willingness to be dunked on. I mean, did you see the cup of coffee he posted on the internet? The man has the worst taste in food and beverage. I'll open the kimono a little bit. We were talking about coffee on air, but we were also talking about adult beverages because he saw me post something about drinking whiskey. He only drinks red wine and White Claw. That's it.
Easy, Connor.
And he just puts himself out there. And I honestly his love of Carson Wentz is the White Claw of takes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
White Claw, by the way, would be a great nickname for, it's a better nickname for Adam Thielen than a quarterback. I've been trying to make that happen. But anyways.
Adam Thielen should be called White Claw, maybe.
Can we make that happen? It's a great nickname.
Well, only if we can get him a sponsorship. Let's talk a little business for Adam Thielen there. But White Claw would be a great white wide receiver's name. I mean, that is Caucasian Claw, maybe even get a little bit deeper into that thing. Did you say you don't want to open the kimono a little bit there? Are we allowed to laugh at that or no?
That is an expression that makes me feel uncomfortable every time I say it, and obviously not just because I'm an Asian woman, but it is. It's like one of those idioms where we were like, "Oh, open the kimono." But I will continue to open. No, you know what? I'm not gonna say that.
We just didn't know how we were reacting. My wife is Korean descent.
Half Korean.
Yeah, half Korean as
Right?
well.
We
So
talked about
yeah. So it's one of those things where I never know what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do, and I just go ahead and go, that's awesome. Let's keep it moving. Ty, what do you got?
Mina, was working for either ESPN or the NFL always a goal? Because I assume if you graduate from Yale summa cum laude that you probably had the pick of the litter in terms of what you wanted to do in terms of your career.
It was not my goal. I was an investigative reporter out of college writing about Wall Street. Actually, I don't know if you guys know that during the crisis and writing about corporate malfeasance.
Oh, I'm surprised they didn't kill you. Thanks for coming over to sports. That's like a dead world, right? They kill people over there.
I mean, honestly, people are always like, oh, are you afraid of being criticizing a football player on TV? And I'm like, no, I got yelled at by lawyers for a living for years.
Amen.
Real billions style stuff. So I'm not afraid of it. But no, I was a Wall Street writer, and all my free time spent just tweeting dumb shit about football. ESPN noticed. They were like, you seem to like football. Would you want to switch? So that, I wrote for the first few years at ESPN. I think, Ty, you're a Packers fan. I mean, I know you guys have Rodgers on the show a lot. That was the guy I profiled back when I was a writer. And then I just kind of fell into doing this analysis stuff just because I loved it so much.
2020 MVP Aaron Rodgers there.
Yeah.
We have to go back and read your profile on him. Can't wait to hear what that is. What's up, Dix?
Mina, have you ever used your investigative journalism skills to try to find out if Russell Wilson is fake or he is just that human being all the time that no one can probably stand to hang out with?
Yeah, you got to snoop around a little bit to learn it.
I have spoken with Russell, and I think he is just always the same.
Wow.
I really
That's what I've been saying this whole time. That's what I've been saying this whole time.
Go Hawks.
Hey, I want to let you know,
Go Hawks.
Nina, there's a guy in this room right now who does not want to hear that right now, and his name's Ty, and he got accepted to Harvard, by the way.
No, I believe it. That just I would never want to have beer with him or hang out with him.
Oh, God.
No, but this is my
Guy's a
theory
hero.
of quarterbacks, by
Yankee.
the way.
He's a
You
Yankee.
either have to be that way, where you're like really religious or just like a, very like strange person, or you have to be like the Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, like super cerebral, like CEO type. There's nothing in between. You can't just be like a normal, chill dude to be an elite quarterback.
I agree completely. By the way, like Andrew Luck, for instance, was super nerd, super cool, super nice. I think the one thing he was missing was like a little bit of asshole. Like he was just too nice of a guy.
Too nice.
Yeah, he's too nice. I think he was too nice where a lot of things were happening that I think he could have been like, nah, I am smarter than you. And also it's my life on the line. I want us to do this. And I think that is if I had to, one negative about Andrew Luck, and I think there is only one. I think that was it. Just the way he played football, the way he carried himself, everything like that, is he was too nice of a guy. Works too hard. Too nice of a man.
Cares too much.
Like, cares too much. Need you to be a little bit of an asshole and say, hey, we're not cutting that guy because you have a personal vendetta. That guy keeps me alive. We need him on the goddamn team. Like, those are the types of things you need quarterbacks to be able to do. You know what I mean? You agree?
I couldn't agree more. I actually wonder if Joe Burrow is too normal. I mean, because I love him and he's been playing so well, but he seems like a really chill, normal dude, and I'm kind of like, all right, let's see how this plays out.
Okay, so you say you have to be super nerd or CEO. In my eyes, I think if you're a beer, like have a beer with guy, also could be a third option. Now, will that be enough to win a Super Bowl? Interesting, because Stafford, right? Stafford's a guy you're like, want to have a beer with that guy, and I don't think anybody's like, Stafford, bad quarterback, even though the Lions stink. I think he has that. Joe Burrow seems to be a guy that you would want to have a beer with or 10. Now, will he be able to take that to the next step? Hopefully, we'll be able to see. Herbert, by the way.
Yeah.
What is Herbert? Is he just super smart guy, you think?
He's a nerd. But he's also an introvert, which is a very rare quarterback archetype, right? Like that was the rap on him in the draft. Is the teams were like, oh my God, he reads books. He likes science. No, this is bad. This is bad. But he first of all, every time they cut to him on the sidelines, it makes me feel so old because I don't want to, he looks 13, right?
Yeah,
his skin, he just looks like a baby.
Whoa.
But he also looks really shy. And it's such a contrast with his playing style, which is Brett Favre, it's unbelievable. And it's super wild. He's a gunslinger. But I think his personality is the nerd type, and I think it could work.
Did you take the ACTs or the SAT?
Just say it's SAT.
SAT, what did you get?
Oh my God, you're actually asking me this.
Yeah.
Maurice Jones-Drew asked me this while we were calling a Rams game, during the game, and it was one of the more uncomfortable moments of my career.
Why?
It's weird. I don't want to look like I'm an asshole.
No, you're not an asshole. Let me just tell you why we're having this conversation. We have an intern here who
has rocks for brains.
He seems to be, potentially. Rocks for brains is something. I guess that's kind of his. He said he got a 31 or something on the ACT, or 33 he's got on the ACT, which I had never taken the ACT. I didn't know anything about. So then they made a comparison to what it would be if in the SAT it's like a 14 or 1500 or something like that on the SAT. And I just want to let you know from our short conversation with you and reading your resume, if he somehow scored higher than you on what would be perceived the SAT,
the test is flawed.
We potentially have to kick him out of the building.
This is more about seeing where he stacks up.
This is an inside the office question, which I can understand why you might don't want to talk about it because you don't want to sound like you're better than anybody else. But we need you to say you're better than somebody right now, in a pretty big way.
Did I say that too quickly? I got a 1560.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, gee. What did you get wrong? What did you get wrong? Because then in 1600 was a perfect. What did you get wrong? 2 questions.
On purpose?
I'm only half Korean, Pat.
All right. Mina, thank you for joining us. That's a great way to end this, I think.
Thanks for the support. Watch NFL Live.
NFL Live
Always.
Today at...
I'm not on today, so you don't have to watch today, but I'm back on it Friday. It's 4 p.m. every day.
4 p.m. every day, ESPN NFL Live. Also your podcast, which is great. It's you and your dog.
Yeah, you came on once, and we had, honestly, a 15-minute conversation about what we would ask our dogs if we could talk to them for like cast a spell and talk to them.
Yeah.
But it's called the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. It's normally more about football than that.
Yeah. My big question was, who do you like more, me or your mom? Because then I know.
I'd be afraid to ask.
And I just need to know who I need to spend more time with. You know what I mean? Like if this one says you love me more than your mom, cool. I'm only caring about you. Yeah. That bark box that's coming every month, coming to you. You know what I mean? This other one, if you love your mom more, that's cool. Fucking just get out. You're gonna have to deal with that yourself. That's on you. So that was my answer. I do believe if I go back, and it's a very selfish answer, but I think it's a pretty real answer.
Yeah, I'd say so.
By the way, your dad, we did some research. U.S. Air Force vet. Happy Veterans Day. Send our love to him. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Shout out to Peter Kimes.
Hey, shout out to Peter Kimes. Shout out to Mina Kimes. Thank you so much for coming on, Mina. See you later.
You know, but
that has to be I bet you the internet is ruthless to her.
I would imagine so.
Whenever she first came on the ESPN, because we posted, we had her in a couple comments that were just like so stupid or whatever. She brings some incredible knowledge, like the shit that most jocks that get on TV aren't going to spend the time looking up. Like she adds that into, you know what I mean? Like I think she does a great job. I think that NFL Live show does have a good vibe to it.
It can't be the answer for everything, but it's also probably pretty easy when it's like, oh, well, you're a dipshit. I'm a lot smarter than you.
Yeah.
So
it would be awesome if she just turned completely heel and started doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, great question. Just for somebody much dumber than me. Don't ask me that question.
I was smarter than you when I was 8 years old.
Hey, Dane Orlovsky. If I had your brain, I would have been kicked out of my family. The Dane Orlovsky thing, he is turning into something awesome on ESPN. Every day it's something new.
I enjoy it.
Every day he hits a home run and he completely strikes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because you know what? He'll step right back into that goddamn batter's box, won't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every time.
Every day. He will step into that batter's box. And I think he legitimately watches hours and hours and hours of film for every single time he steps in that batter's box. And sometimes the players that he studies just don't show up the way that he had hoped that they show up. And everybody dumps on Dane Orlovsky. And it's like, Dane, you can't get back those 4 hours you took watching that film, too, for that particular take. What's up, Gumpy?
There's nothing he loves more than pushing mediocre quarterbacks.
Oh, man.
If he starts using words like archetype, though, I will start listening to him a little more.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good there.
Never heard of that.
The open the kimono or peek behind the kimono, I think we all kind of didn't know how to react there.
Yeah.
Can't blame us.
No.
Kimonos are awesome.
She didn't know.
I thought it was a dragon.
Let's go to Austin and Columbus. What's going on, Austin?
Hey, boys, how's it going?
Komodo. Komodo.
Whoa. Oh,
yeah.
The dragon?
Yeah.
Tell me.
All right, so I want to talk about the Steelers lineup with Ben on the watch list with COVID, and the biggest stooge to ever walk onto the field with Mason Rudolph. That dude needs kicked off the ship, take his helmet off his head, jersey off his back, get him out of there.
This is because of you. This guy follows Tone Diggs.
No, it's because of him and his fucking play on the field. Because he's the worst quarterback to ever step on the field.
This is because of Tone Diggs.
Toxic Tone.
Yeah, toxic tone. Oh, toxic fantasy Tone Diggs. Oh, now tape Tone. Okay. Tone, though, you have turned a bunch of people against Mason Rudolph more than I think anybody in the history. You tweeted out the other day that something about if he gets on the field, you'll like something that you lose your mind. And now it's very obvious that guy is much like you when watching things. He is completely chameleoned into your guy there. Why do you hate Mason so bad? What if he goes out there and wins some games? I saw some guy tweeting him. Might have been Mason's burner. A bunch of stats about Mason.
That guy fucking stinks too.
Okay.
What I said was, I hope one of the things that I said about Mason, I've said a lot, is I hope during this week of practice where Ben's not practicing that they watch Mason rep and they figure out like why the fuck do we have this guy on the field and he's caught and we never see him again is what I hope.
AJ Hawk was supposed to be on show 1:30 today all the way through.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
It's 1:54 now.
Cool.
Why didn't he call in?
No,
that's his fault.
I don't know. This is probably supposed to be me. He and I had a full conversation before the show about this. I'm like, you want to come on 1:30 all the way through? You know what I mean?
Talking to Mina. He's just sitting there fucking twiddling his finger.
No, but he's probably... I can't wait to hear his initial comment to the show here in a couple of minutes. That should be great.
Smoke 4 cigars, waiting.
Just waiting for my phone to ring, dude. How about Ryan Phillippe kind of dunking on AJ a little bit?
Yeah, reverse slam.
Hey, Ryan Phillippe, who, to be completely transparent, I did not know who it was.
Sure.
I thought he was the other one.
Ryan Gosling.
That's who I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if Ryan Gosling had tweeted about the show, I was very pumped up.
That's a big deal.
I was very pumped up about it. Turns out it was Ryan Phillippe, who also heartthrob, I've learned.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But not Ryan Gosling. No. He, I guess, at one point, in AJ's view, AJ's story, is Ryan Phillippe, not Gosling, punked Aaron Rodgers at an event.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron laughed it off, obviously said, I don't remember that. And AJ said, oh, you might have been a little drunk or something like that, which means AJ knows that there was potentially some cocktails had and it was at an event and something happened. Ryan Phillippe quote tweets the video and goes, all lies. I would never do that to 12. That's my fantasy football quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Then AJ Hawk quote tweets Ryan Phillippe's quote tweet and says, prove it. What this tells me is AJ is not over that particular story. Oh, it seemed like he was a fan of Ryan Phillippe too, AJ.
Yeah.
Knew a lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Hawk joins us on the other side. Justin Jefferson will chat with us, a man who's probably up for Offensive Rookie of the Year from the Minnesota Vikings. He's a man who made the Gritty the sensation that it is in the NFL with everybody doing it. Can't wait to chat with him. Also, your phone calls, 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. You have about 6 minutes. Go take a shit. We'll be back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Happy Veterans Day.
Lakers, welcome to the Blender, the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's an NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in Vienna. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans. That's how you play basketball. This will be a 5-bowler from the Red Panda. Up we go. Yes! 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 Red Panda!
players, throw some balls to Red Panda, fly back to Indianapolis. Success story, Foxy. What a fucking night.
I don't even know what that means.
West Ham. The Hammers.
Great.
It makes
West Ham
sense.
United.
We're the
Why is
Hammers.
Connor here?
Connor, what do you got?
Look, man, okay? You bet against Bill Belichick last week, and he came down and he broke that fucking hammer. And now you're going to come in here and you're going to bet on the fucking Jets on Monday Night Football. What the fuck? What the hell? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? What happened? That's not gonna happen. Do not believe this fucking bullshit. They will not lose 5 in a row. They will cover. I can't believe the gourd on you to fucking do that after last week. God damn it. With that being said, I also like at plus 9,000 Damian Harris to score a rushing touchdown and to score a receiving touchdown. 20 to win, 1,800. And if you bet on the fucking Jets, let me know, because you're fucking wrong and you're losing money tonight. Damn it.
What a promo.
Hammer.
Yeah.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 on the 11th day of the 11th month of the year 2020 begins right now. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you, Vet, today. Let off the show. All the hours with that, because it is something, not a bad day to sit back and go, there's some humans walking amongst us that have a certain trait or a gene in their body that is different than mine. They are actual badasses, superheroes, and willing to sign a line and said, we'll do what we got to do for this country. It doesn't matter if you're for the war or against the war, which, by the way, I assume there's many of both there. I don't know. I don't think I've met many people that are like, yeah, let's go to war. I mean, there probably is, I guess, out there somewhere, I assume. I mean, there's people that just chop people's heads off and shit too out there somewhere. But you get what I'm saying. Doesn't matter if you're for the war or against the war, you have to be for the warrior, because they're literally on our team.
Hell yeah.
So happy Veterans Day. Buy a cup of coffee, buy a meal, buy some gas, do whatever you got to do. If you see somebody out there, say thanks if you can afford to do so. Not a bad sports show today.
No.
We've had thus far.
Good Wednesday.
2 hours in. They're trying to tell me whether or not AJ Hawk is on the line or not. I'm not 100% sure if he is. I can't hear the back room or whatever. I'm not 100% sure if AJ is joining us, but I do know Justin Jefferson will be joining us. So Justin's on right now. AJ's not even here. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now was the 22nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. Played at LSU. So far, he has 34 receptions for 627 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah!
What's good? What's good?
Hey, you. We talked to you before the season, and I think the only thing I really remember from that whole call was that all you kept saying is, I got to get better, I got to get better. Like, you were just worried about working. You weren't even thinking about, I'm in the NFL now, what are we going to do? You're just like, I got to get better, I got to get better. What has the NFL been like now that you're there? Rookie season's going well. Now, granted, you guys are turning things around. Here we go. You got Dalvin Cook rushing for 7,000 yards in 2 fucking weeks somehow, but you guys are really getting going. What has it been like transitioning into the NFL as a wide receiver?
It's been great. I kind of got to give credit to LSU for preparing me to play at this level, and just playing against guys week in and week out. Top caliber guys.
Nailed it.
And I mean, this NFL experience has been great to me, and I'm blessed to be here.
Hey, listen, you just got a text probably from somebody at LSU saying, hey, we wish you were still here. We stink now. What do you think is going to happen with how do you
I mean, they have a lot of young guys on the team. A lot of guys left after last year, a lot of juniors, seniors. So they have a class that's, I mean, pretty much freshmen and sophomores, majority. So I mean, you kind of got to give them time to soak it in and to get adjusted to college level.
Your time at LSU, I mean, everybody knows Jarvis was there, Odell was there. Saw both of them on the sidelines for the national championship. Saw them with you guys like almost as a family. Odell's been banned for 2 years, and the big thing was like, will that change anything or whatever? I think it is a big deal that Odell won't be around the program, right? It feels like LSU, especially in the wide receiver room, I'm not sure everywhere else, it's like a generational thing. Like you guys all kind of look out for each other. Am I reading that right from outside or no?
And that's definitely right. I mean, came back and supported us. Jarvis, DJ Shark, Russell Gage. So those guys definitely was in our ears and was preparing us to play at our best abilities. But it's exciting to see those guys on the sideline, and especially a person and player like Odell not being able to go there because he's banned. I mean, that's a sad sighting to see, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, there's really nothing anybody can do about it because once the NCAA makes a decision, or I think LSU made it, I don't know who it was, it's kind of set in stone there. Now let's get back to your Minnesota Viking time. Adam Thielen in that wide receiver room. He's been around for a few years now. I assume he's the veteran in the group. What has it been like working alongside him? And does he have the best or worst gritty in the history of the gritty?
I mean, it's been exciting to have him mentor me and really just share his knowledge. He's been in the league for 8 years and has plenty of information and experience that he can give me. So he's definitely been that big brother to me on the team, and he's been guiding me throughout this whole journey.
He's cool, man. I got a chance to play golf with him. He was one of the most competitive humans I've ever seen in my life. And he hit a 3-wood like 380 yards or something like that. He's incredibly athletic. It was a shame, and we told him this whenever he came on the show, that his gritty was so terrible. That first one, he was all jacked up. He said he was all jacked up. He couldn't figure it out. Do you know?
It was definitely terrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it is. That dance, by the way, has captivated the entire. The dab a couple years ago was good. The gritty, though, has really taken over everything at this point. Yeah. I don't want to say you put this guy on, but I mean, you had to feel like you potentially helped this whole thing out. How do you know gritty, and how did the whole thing come to be?
Well, I know Gritty. Some guys on the team had went to school with Gritty, and not a lot of people are from New Orleans on the team. So, I've seen some of his videos, some of his dances, and I was the main one really hitting it. So, a lot of guys on the LSU team love dancing and love, just clowning around. So, us and me, Jamar, and a couple other guys decided, we was going to do it for our touchdown dance. So, ever since I hit it during Texas, it started being on SEC Network, and it just started getting bigger and bigger.
Justin, people are already talking about this wide receiver class as potentially being one of the better ones of all time. Do you guys, is there a wide receiver group chat from this draft class? You guys keep in touch or anything like that?
Nah.
We lost
that you're drafted with. But it's,
it seems like my fault.
There's no history.
It was going good.
Yeah, It seems like my fault.
It was going good, and then you ask a question, man. So
we should reboot the call just in case.
Because there was, and joining us now, by the way, AJ Hawk. AJ, man, you were supposed to come on at 1:30, and I don't know if you saw it. 1:54, I remembered that. That's 100% my fault.
I did. That's what I was up here early to allow me to watch 30 minutes of your show. I was hoping to get some fantasy advice from Diggs, but I didn't get any.
Well, thank you for watching their products, by the way. And Diggs is a very good fantasy football player. You, big fan of NFL Live Daily. I wanted you to, that's why I wanted you on whenever Mina was on. What did you take away from that one? And what is your favorite part of NFL Live, AJ Hawk?
My favorite part of NFL Live? Oh, man. Well, Orslowski's good. Obviously, we know Dan working the tablet, working the screen like our guys from the election coverage. Mina, I watched her interview. I mean, I think it was good. I wasn't there to try to, I think it was good just you and her going back and forth. She's very, very smart. I guess I didn't know. I didn't know all of her credentials.
Me neither. Learned it this morning. Didn't even know what that fucking word was, by the way.
Summa cum laude.
And that was, Myron Roll was on the show, right? Huh?
Second place?
No.
No, I think it's just like top 0.01% or whatever of GPAs. We should have this conversation, though, maybe after Justin Jefferson is back. Attaboy, Justin! Back, man. Thanks for figuring it out. His question about you, though, or to you was, this rookie class of wide receivers looks damn good. Are you viewing this as competing against each other? Do you keep in contact with each other? Do you know any of them outside of the LSU crew?
I mean, always was a competition, especially during college. So I mean, we follow each other on social media and stuff now, but I mean, I feel like it's always going to be that competition and us always just trying to outdo one another. But it's much respect to those guys. Those guys have been performing at their best abilities also, and I mean, this class has been looking great.
It doesn't make sense how easy you guys have made it look. It really doesn't. It's not supposed to be like that. At least two of you should be fucking bums, and you're not. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? AJ Hawk, by the way, is the other Caucasian male on the screen that you see there. He played at Green Bay for a long time.
Justin, hey, I'm just curious about your time. I know people love to ask you about Coach O and LSU, but are there any similarities between Coach O and Mike Zimmer?
Both love to win. Both hate losing. And I hate losing as well. That's why I can connect with them and I can feel, how they feel even more than everybody else because, they're so competitive just like me. And, we just hate losing. We hate just being on the losing team, having a losing season. So we're all just looking to shake this season back right and to go back on a winning streak.
Being ultra competitive seems to be a trait that a lot of people that are in high places have. With you just talking about being on a losing team there for a little bit, and you guys seem to have right the ship, by the way. That it's been awesome to watch that whole thing happen. What has the vibe been like? Now, this is your first year in the NFL, so there's no way you could compare the NFL locker room to this particular season as opposed to another NFL season. But what has the vibe been like? Has it been more business than you expected it to be? Because all through high school, college, it's like you kind of ride the wave, and in the NFL, it's like, hey, we got to move on here. What has it been like kind of experiencing the highs and lows of the NFL in your short career thus far?
I mean, just losing and just trying to shake back from. I mean, I'm just not used to losing at all, especially after last year. But I mean, this year is just different. Just not having fans, not having screaming people in the stadium. It's a little different. So you got to bring your own energy, bring your own swagger to the games because I mean, to be honest, it feels like practice. It feels like a scrimmage. But I mean, once we bring that energy and play with that high tempo, then we will play great, just like we did these last two games.
Nice,
Justin. Is it a benefit when you don't have fans there to where I'm sure pre-snap you can hear your coaches on the sidelines if they want to make an adjustment?
Yes.
You're lined up wrong. Is that a benefit or is that a detriment to your team when you can hear everything?
It's both, both. Just because I mean, it's kind of tough not having those fans in there. So the fans bring energy, brings excitement, brings adrenaline. So all of that you don't have anymore. So now you just have to come prepared, come ready to go, and just in your own little zone. So it's definitely different, but I would say it's a little better because the communication between you and the offense, you can hear everything But it would be way better if we had fans in it.
Has there? Hey, by the way, that sounds like a common sentiment by every football player. I couldn't even. I mean, I had to hit 0 people. I had to do absolutely nothing that involved getting energy or juice or having a little bit of adrenaline. But I couldn't even fathom what it's like walking into just a completely dead silent stadium and being like, yeah, this matters. Like, this matters a lot. Like, that has to be hard to be like, yo, this is a lot different than what I was just doing on Wednesday and Thursday. This, even though it feels the exact same, that's going to be interesting. And by the way, I think the adjustment back into a lot of fans is going to be interesting for some people too. It's going to be like a rebaptism into a full-blown stadium. Justin Jefferson, any hobbies you've picked up in the off time, or is it just film? You just hang out? You do play video games? Do you play cards? Do you play dominoes?
I play video games mostly, especially with some of my friends back at home and some teammates. So that kind of been giving me, a little excitement after practices and a long day. So that's what I've pretty much been doing with my time.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to do anything, right? You have to go to work, then you go home. Then you don't talk to anybody. Put a mask on if you even talk to your mom. Okay, we don't need you doing. No, you have to do that, and then you go back to work. Then you go home. But that's like kind of the expectation. And if the season, if the players want to maintain collecting checks and everything, that's what it has to be. So I would assume that like the video game escape there is a massive part of your well-being throughout this entire season.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why college is having a little bit a harder time to stay under COVID protocol and everything, because college students love to do extracurricular activities and they just love to go out or whatever. But
not me. Hey, not me, Justin. Okay, I took college serious, dude. Okay, I've been in a bubble for a long time. That's amazing.
That's what they all say, right?
Exactly.
Hey, Justin, you ever see Zim? Does Zim ever peel his shirt off and run around the facility like Coach O would do on campus?
Well, the day I see that, it's gonna have me on my toes. But, no, not yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it if it does happen, though.
Well, he's a big defensive coach, right? Does he have much interaction with the offense? Have you and him had a relationship? I mean, being the first round pick, that's quite an investment the team put in you. Has Zimmer and you had a relationship at all, or is it kind of business because you can't because COVID?
A little mixture of both. We talk a little bit during practice and just saying what's up to each other, as we walk by. But it's kind of been more of a business thing. It doesn't really. They don't really look at me as a rookie anymore. They look at me as a player that can bring some potential to the offense and make some big plays. So I feel like Coach has just been treating me like everybody else in the locker room.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Hey, good luck for the rest of the day. What do you got? You got practice? You got anything else going? What do you got today?
We just finished practice, so I'm going home back to the video game.
Hell yeah! Hey, big Wednesday. Okay, this is install day. Did you make any? Did you do anything sweet today? Do we have any highlights potentially that we could talk about, or was just another come see, come saw day, Justin Jefferson?
It's another day. It's another day for me, man.
We appreciate you. Good luck. I think you're on Monday Night Football against the Bears. Big divisional game. Have a good one. Stay locked down because it takes all of us, and we appreciate you joining us, man.
Watch out. Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
I want to let you know, whenever we say it takes all of us, we're not talking about us. We have to do nothing.
Right.
You have to stay in your house forever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Jefferson. Thank you. Yeah! Good dude.
Stud. Yeah. Good football player,
good
too.
Dude. Yeah. Very good at football. AJ, sorry. I mean, you're supposed to be on 1:30. Supposed to be on earlier today, and this is the latest he's been on. This is a tough Wednesday, AJ. I apologize, pal. Good questions, though, for Justin Jefferson, even though you missed the first half of the conversation because we couldn't figure out the fucking tech. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. I got to watch. It honestly, it's fun watching when I'm not – you don't have to count on me to chime in. Like, it's kind of fun just to enjoy the show.
I hope so, by the way. I hope that continues. I hope that continues for people. It'll stop. It'll happen at some point, but I hope that does continue. Before we get to the break here, which we have to get to, and then we'll take some calls and talk about everything happening in the world. on a Wednesday in the middle of the league, which nothing happens on Wednesdays. So we'll figure it out. But has Ryan Phillippe got back to you after calling you a bold-faced liar yesterday on this show, AJ?
As far as I know, he has not gotten back to me. I'm still. I guess I'm waiting.
Does he know TikTok, pal? Does Ryan Phillippe know that the Crimson Chin, the national champion, the Super Bowl champion, the man who has delivered no less than 200 concussions and never received one, is waiting on the other side of the Twitter machine for him? Does he know that, AJ Hawk?
No, I don't think he does know that. But what he does, he is aware of, from a little bit of research I have done, is that he has a new show coming up that he's going to be promoting, or he already is in the process of promoting.
So you're saying
be active.
You're saying, hey, maybe come do a little marketing. Let's clear up this little situation on who misremembers what.
Put the swords away.
Put our swords away. Maybe you and Ryan Phillippe, who I thought was Ryan Gosling, could become friends.
Yeah, I mean, if Gosling is a fan of the show, then we know you.
That would be huge.
I got real pumped yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know, I don't know much about that world, the heartthrob world, but whenever you guys said Ryan Phillippe, and I thought it was that guy that was with Steve Carell in that movie, I was very pumped for where we are.
Yeah.
From where we started to where we are, if that was happening, I was very pumped. Ryan Phillippe, by the way, still big, I heard.
Oh, yeah. Heartthrob of his own.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great act.
He's got a brand new show coming out.
What happened? He punked Aaron? Or you? What happened, did you say? What did you say he did?
No, I just said I was using him to ask Aaron a question about, like, stars that may have big-timed him.
So was Ryan Phillippe telling the truth, or are you?
Tells the truth.
What do you think?
I don't know, Ryan. I didn't even know Ryan Phillippe existed until yesterday. So
I mean, that's not shocking. Like, you don't know people in your life exist. Like, you forget about them instantly. So,
whoa.
AJ.
That is not true.
AJ, tell the truth.
I keep my circle very small.
What's short-term memory like, you think?
My short-term memory?
Yeah.
Top five.
What happened today?
I came in here and fucking had a great conversation with a couple people, man. That's what I did. Then this morning, by the way, I read a story about Sergeant Stubby at Further Brand on Instagram.
Yep.
About a dog that was a World War I hero, basically, on this Veterans Day at Further Brand, which is a foundation my lady has put together to help, rescue dogs and things like that. They've donated a lot of cool things. Told the story of a couple war dogs today, and this one, Sergeant Stubby, was awesome. This little mutt got rescued over there. Yeah. Gets smuggled into war by the owner, basically. Has zero war training at all, this dog. None. Just like a mutt, kind of roams around. As soon as it gets there, wins over an entire platoon. Okay, wins over an entire platoon. So now they need him there. They get an acid or
mustard
gas attack, which knocks them all out. So they all go into the hospital. Okay, Sergeant Stubby's on like a mask, and their entire platoon gets taken out. They would go on now, and he would, since it knocked him out earlier, he would sniff out mustard gas and alert the boys in the opposite direction. Wow. Sergeant Stubby just started saving lives. Sergeant Stubby found like a German spy all by himself. I would assume old Sergeant Stubby is walking out to take a piss and just goes, just right here, this son of a bitch is just right here.
AJ, you haven't even said Happy Veterans Day, dude. Do you even care?
About Sergeant Stubby or the women and men that have served our military?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was give thanks to all the veterans, the men and women that protect our freedoms. I don't have to pander here on a
prove it
like you do, Connor.
I just want to let you know that the first thing me and Connor do in the morning every day is we thank the Lord for sending his son to die for our sins.
Hell yeah.
Then immediately after that, we then thank the vets. Ain't that right?
That's right. I called my grandfather. First thing I did this morning.
Well, after you prayed. After you prayed.
Well, my grandfather, me and him usually share a prayer together.
Oh, see? That's how he celebrates Veterans Day.
That's nice.
That's how you do it.
Connor, you are very quick on your feet.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth, my friend.
That's when he's at his best, by the way. That's why you just got to attack him, because the way he can deflect is maybe the best in the history of media. I'm going to start putting him in that. The way he can deflect blame away from him is next. I assume it is a pain in the ass in every other walk of life, right? If you had somebody that had disability, but this ability this kid has is special. It is a gift, this guy.
You're not deflecting when you're telling the truth.
Yeah, exactly. There it is.
attack Connor. Like Connor doesn't sit back and just, he's not passive. Like he's attacking. He's going to go for the throat. If you even say anything near that Connor would assume could possibly be offensive to him, he is coming right back at you.
Bingo.
Right.
And by the way, whatever you said that was possibly offensive, he's going to use that to attack somebody else. And then what he's going to do for you is coming on the other side, because whatever you said to him, that's going somewhere else. Before that thing even makes it halfway, that thing's getting shot in a different direction.
Didn't even see it.
You ass me. Did you hear? Just immediately. It's awesome. It's a gift for this show. It's good for this show. But I bet his parents had some days.
He got kicked out a few times.
All right, we got to get to a break. We're back on the other side. Phone calls, more conversation. Ryan Phillippe. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I can get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, or maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
one fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Yeah, you're damn right it is. It's called America by Wave Junkies, by the way. Shout out to them.
Shout out Wave Junkies.
Happy Veterans Day. Sex is cool, but have you ever tried building underwear?
Pretty cool.
Everyone knows Bird Dogs has shorts, but now they make pants. They stole Lululemon's designer, and now they're just doing it better. Bird Dogs are pants, but they have the underwear built in. Ooh. They look exactly like khakis or chinos, but feel like silky, soft pajamas.
Hell yeah.
There are work pants, golf pants, happy hour pants, sleep pants, you name it, workout pants. They can be all types of pants or all-terrain pants because they are Bird Dogs pants. The comfort, unbelievable. The fit, next level. The material, unmatched. In the stretch, my God, for these big thighs, Bird Dogs scratches me right where I need to be itched.
Hell yeah.
Right now, you go to birddogs.com and enter promo code McAfee, and they'll throw in a free pair of nunchucks. Nunchucks will come with every single order right now at birddogs.com. Promo code McAfee. You'll get an actual murder weapon with your purchase. That's birddogs.com. Promo code McAfee, and boom! Free pair of nunchucks. Nunchucks. Nunchucks will come with every single order when you go to birddogs.com and use promo code McAfee. You will not want to take off the Bird Dog shorts or pants, and you will want to use the nunchucks. Whoa! AJ, ever seen this, pal? Huh? Ever seen that? What? Ha! Hoo! Ha! He! Ha! Hoo! Ha! Ha! He! Ha! Hua! Ta!
Dead.
I've never seen anyone execute at that high a level with the nunchucks. So
Thank you.
Very impressed.
I don't trust myself with the catch that they do, which is, see, that one, it's tough because they go right over the shoulder. Yeah.
Blast your
shoulder
kidneys.
dexterity.
But I want to let you know, when these nunchucks come out, it ain't time to fucking catch. It's time to throw. So I ain't worried about that part of it, any of it. Just want to let you know that. Welcome back to the show. Ryan Phillippe's people have not reached out to us yet. We'll see how that whole thing pans out. How tall is Ryan Phillippe, AJ? He'd give you, would he work you? He'd get you, huh?
He probably is like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I came to this situation as a fan of Ryan Phillippe.
Okay, well, and I'm a new fan. I just learned. He is. We are getting word in our ear. He is 5 foot.
5'9".
9. I want to say 5'10", give him an extra inch, maybe make AJ Hawk think he has to sweat a little bit for trying to, spread this slander about Ryan Phillippe. I mean, the issue with me now, so like, for instance, the NBA, whenever they measure people's height, it's them with shoes on. They want the players to be as tall as possible. The NFL does not care about the marketing of how big the players are. They're trying to get you at your absolute shortest. So they have you get up on a stage in front of a bunch of people, take off your shirt, take off your pants, you're only in tights, take off your shoes, and then you walk out into the middle of the stage. Okay, I did this at the Senior Bowl, and it's in a theater or whatever, and there's a guy out there with like a stick, basically, and you stand in front of a measuring thing, and the guy pushes your shoulders down and your head down so you can be the smallest you could potentially be. Now, what is the smallest this sack of fucking bones can be? So that's what it'll be. So then they measure you, right? And it's like 6'1", 008 or something, like 6'1" and an eighth or something like that. And then you go and you take your fat ass and you go step right on a scale right next to it, and they bat the thing, 235 pounds, and then you just walk off, right? And then you put your clothes on and walk away, and you're like, that was interesting experience there. And then I think, why do these people want me to be the shortest I could possibly be? Those are not great numbers for what normal punters are or kickers are. I didn't really know what was good. But the NBA, so I am 6'1", 233 forever. You put some good shoes on me and I get some lifts. It's a shame that in like WWE they can't call me like 6'6", because I think I could get up there if I really wanted to. But the NFL has listed me at 6'1" the entire time.
Well, they used to do that. I mean, I remember the first time I was watching something, we figured, oh no.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Hey, we have some breaking news here. Forget how tall I am or how tall Ryan Phillippe is or AJ Hawk, who's like 6'5". Bruce Feldman's reporting that Maryland versus Ohio State this Saturday is getting canceled per source. So Is it Maryland? Okay. Does a team in the Big Ten named Maryland, who has Tagovailoa at quarterback, who's playing very well right now and has been covering like a motherfucker for all the sports gamblers, they have COVID in their building? Or is it Ohio State who has COVID in their building?
It's Maryland.
Oh, jeez. If that was, now listen, we hope everybody survives in Maryland, okay?
Yep.
Listen, that was quite a reaction to learning that it was not Ohio State. Would like Maryland to know, we hope you all survive this outbreak. We hope everything's okay over there, everything like that. Obviously, we hope you're safe. But boy, the Big Ten is pumped that did not happen to Ohio State. Because if Ohio, it seems like there's 4 games in the SEC that's been postponed or canceled. Now this one's getting no contest completely in the way the Big Ten set this entire thing up. Michael Lombardi put out a tweet this morning that said Halloween parties are going to catch up to football players or football facilities. And I think that's right. I think it potentially happened. And this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So that's one game down. So now the Ohio State Buckeyes will either only be 7-0 going into the Big Ten championship at the most. Could go down to 6, could go down to 5 if it happens to another school. This is interesting. This is very, very, very interesting, AJ.
Hey, but don't you have to play at least 6 games to be eligible for the playoffs?
Yeah, well, for the Big Ten championship, yeah. And I think everybody just assumes if you win the Big Ten championship, you will be eligible for the college football playoff. But the college football playoff has come out and said 0 rules about what they are expecting or not. And I would assume that is because if they didn't know what was going to happen, if Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State only play 3 games, they want to be able to go, well, we made that rule earlier, but what we were talking about was boom, boom, boom. This is interesting. In the Big Ten, by the way, I can't hammer this home enough. Leaving 0 COVID wiggle room with allowing 8 games in only 8 weeks because they initially didn't want the season to happen at all. They give in but go, oh, man, you wanted it, you got it. It could bite them in the ass completely with this entire thing. When every other league has the ability to postpone and move things around and survive and get going, the Big Ten leaving no wiggle room could come back to bite them in the ass if the Ohio State ends up getting one little couple COVID situations, which now here we are with one with Maryland this weekend getting no contest.
Well, and it just said that there's an elevated number in the program. So is this the same thing as Wisconsin where they have a bunch of guys and they're basically just going to have to cancel the next 3 games they play?
21 days, nobody can play because you tested positive. That's tough.
Halloween parties, too. That hurts. But ugly sweater parties are right around the corner, too. So what's going to happen right before bowl season?
Well, and what about the Thanksgiving? I mean, let's not even.
Jeez.
I mean, Thanksgiving, pretty big day to gather.
All of us.
Can't do it. Don't give any thanks this year.
No.
Be arrogant.
There's no way any NFL teams held like their normal Halloween parties, though.
Nah, nobody can't do it, won't do it.
Though. If you did, it would probably be the safest thing you do. You make a rule like, hey, you have to wear a full-blown mascot mask, like head. You have to be your character has to be like a head that you can't take off.
Yeah, but something will happen where, there'll be a drink or a bottle or something or something. There'll be something that happens with somebody doing something, and somehow 2 will become 50. Or, by the way, 2 will somehow not spread at all, which seems to be happening on the field in the NFL, which was something that was talked about yesterday. A.J. Dillon played an entire game with COVID. Nobody else got it, right?
It does stay on mascot surfaces for longer, I read.
Okay.
That's a fucking
new info.
By the way, that would be a stat that would come out. Is like hard objects. It could be on there for 3 to 4 weeks. I think was one of the original reports. Like, don't look people in the eyes. It can jump from your eye duct to your other eye duct. Don't even look people in the eyes. And then it would have been right on par for back a couple months ago for them going mascot heads. Now big problems. Probably why sports won't be able to happen is because the mascots are super spreaders with all their dancing, sweating, and moving and grooving and gyrations of their hips. Need to cut that out. That would have been something that would have came out just weeks ago. I wonder how, if Ohio State misses another game and they're at 6, and then the shot clock is on for them to get, 4 more games in without getting another one? I mean, that's whenever the conversation will really build around the Big Ten, leaving 0 wiggle room for 8 games in 8 weeks, when they could have easily started a couple weeks before that, like what everybody else did, and give themselves a chance and, really care about the student human athletes that have dedicated their entire life to a sport and education. But now, no, because you're in Columbus, Ohio, and somebody in Maryland happened to potentially get killed. You can't play in a bowl game, or you can't play because these are our rules. Interesting. This is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Hope everybody survives. Okay, hope everybody survives. But this is going to be very interesting for the Big Ten.
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, what did we say when the Big Ten announced that they were coming back? I said, all right, cool. Why are we waiting 6 weeks to implement this? Like when they're already on campus, they're already practicing, going through conditioning, workouts, everything. We said it right when it happened. Like, you set yourself up for this. It's not like it's a surprise. We all knew teams are going to get it. It's going to spread a little bit, but you just left yourself no room. So here we are. And I think they should let teams go out and try to schedule a game quick. It's Wednesday. You think Ohio State can get somebody to play?
You know the issue? They're not allowed to, I don't think, right?
I know they're not. Nebraska wanted to earlier, and they didn't let them because they used the guise of like, hey, they don't test their players like we test in the Big Ten. That's how they used it. But I was like, hey, if you can get a team to come in here and play, I think you should be able to do it.
And Nebraska doing that, by the way, kind of like pulled a pin on a lot of media people being like, is Nebraska supposed to be in the Big Ten? Like, there was almost like a move because Nebraska tried to do that. Nebraska, since the beginning, wanted to play. There's almost been like a turn on, like, Nebraska shouldn't be in the Big Ten. Is that inaccurate? I feel like I seen that and heard that. Is that not accurate?
I am not aware of that. You think because of how they've handled the COVID situation, people say they shouldn't be in the Big Ten?
It just feels like there's been a narrative that Nebraska shouldn't be in the Big Ten for some reason. Or their relationship with the Big Ten isn't working. Is Nebraska new to the Big Ten?
Yeah, they used to be in the Big 12. I think that's what a lot of it is. Like, Nebraska's out ahead of this. They're making all these, and it's like, well, you guys kind of also fucking stink. So, you know, like, you shouldn't be like the representative of the Big Ten. I think that's how a lot of Big Ten fans felt.
Okay. So I did know that was a narrative, but it is very interesting that they did try to schedule it. They did want to do it, and then they were kind of turned down for the whole thing. It's a wild time. Hey, it's a wild time. And you know, I think the biggest problem is we got a general that's deciding to sleep in on the job, take days off because he has paid time off. Jeez. He's a booze hound at night. He's got wine or scotch or liquor or tequila.
Whatever he could get.
And he's asking, like, do I need to drink more or drink less? It's like, I'll worry about that tomorrow. Why do I even ask that question? General Bob Carpenter has been resting on his goddamn yawnies here. This guy's letting these types of things happen without raising one stink, which is a big deal on these internet streets. And I'm reading his tweets, and he's asleep on the goddamn wheel.
God. Well, I think if there's anything that could kind of wake him up from his hibernation, you know, he got a little comfortable because he made things happen. He got the Big Ten rolling again. I think this right now, when Ohio State getting the game canceled because of the other team having issues, I think this may wake General Bob up just a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably still asleep right now. You saw his tweet last night. I mean, you saw it, General.
I mean, if he somehow heard this real time, he would instantly send a video probably of him deadlifting on Twitter. Like, oh, you're right, Pat. I'm not asleep. I've been up for 14 hours.
Is General Bob Carpenter one of the most interesting people to ever exist?
Yeah, he very well may be. Yeah. He has a very unique brain. Yeah, Bobby is he's special. He's a special guy to be around.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to another special person.
I mean, like, special, unique. He brings a lot to the table.
Yeah. By the way, we've talked to him. We understood exactly what you meant. Let's go to Chase in Wisconsin. What's going on, Chase? All right.
Oh, jeez.
21 days.
He's sleeping too.
Let's go to Stu in Montana. What's going on, Stu?
Big Stu.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Let's go! Let's go, Stu. He's a Montana.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. What part of Montana are you in, pal?
Right now I'm in Baker working, but I'm from Billings.
Oh, okay, Billings. Obviously, that's where school is, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of them. Nice.
How about
Not some $1 million shot kid or $10,000 shot kid. That was in Bozeman.
Yeah, that's Montana State kid. We're talking about University of Montana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Missoula.
Oh, fuck. Close. Shit. What's in Billings?
Yeah, we're getting there.
What's in Billings?
Me, for one.
Hell yeah,
we got,
nailed it.
You know, we got some water towers. There's a small school, like a little community college.
All right, appreciate that, man.
Dunk hockey rink.
Oh, hockey rink. Okay, all right. Friday night, go pay $5, skate till you can't.
Big hockey guy, it's like $300 for a year. They make us play or pay to play, but
all right, what do you want?
What it is. I miss my calling.
Yeah, well, you're doing. Maybe this is your calling. This call right here. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Hey, there we go. So I got a question. One of the best things that happened from this election is Montana passed recreational marijuana, you know, good for the vitamins.
Yeah.
Was wondering if you plan on investing in the recreational market before it gets big, like some sort of the brand Triple Kush or something like that.
Stu, I've tried my best. It's like the goddamn
a fucking boomstick.
You got to really. Oh yeah, we did. We actually tried to create something. The issue is in all these states that are legalizing the vitamins. There's only a certain amount of licenses, and then the licenses seem to be going to people who have, high connections. Now, could I go kiss the ring of a bunch of people potentially somewhere and try to get in those conversations? I probably could. It's going to be tough for me to do that. But yeah, I am very open to getting into that particular world as an investor. Yesterday, very much so. AJ, I think Ohio just passed medical. Don't you guys have medical?
It's medical, not recreational. But what do you mean? I'm sure there are plenty of big cannabis companies out there that they would gladly take your money. We know you're a high wealth individual. They would easily let you invest.
What's your problem?
You're not getting your own license to open up a dispensary, but hey, they would definitely take your money.
Yeah.
McAfee's marijuana.
Bro, I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of ideas over there. And I would like to dive into that world a lot. If I'm, you go back to before the Marlboro time, the tobacco takeover. And now the way that whole thing came out, obviously not great, but if you could, I think that's what I think the marijuana wave of money that is about to just come in. Now, sports gambling, obviously, very big. I think $1.6 billion was gambled in Indiana this past month, I believe. $1.6 billion.
That was for FanDuel, I believe, in all states.
$1.6 billion in all states on FanDuel is gambled. That's a great business, but I believe the marijuana business is about to be a massive booming. And it's not going to fall off. I think that thing is just going to keep on going. And I believe there's a lot of forces fighting against it, by the way. Tobacco is one of them. Alcohol is another one. Pharma is another one. And those three are pretty large lobbyist groups.
Cartels? Yeah. Aren't cartels working against it too?
I would assume, cartels are probably against it. And they probably have lobbyists, by the way. I would assume cartels do have lobbyists in D.C. So you're talking about big lobbyist groups that are going against it. But at some time it will hit. And there will be a handful of people that will get very wealthy off of it. And hopefully those people will do, the right thing and spread the wealth to other people that potentially want to get into business. But boy, I think there's going to be a couple people who are just going to make bazillions of dollars, and they're going to be the people that get the licenses in every single state.
Yeah, I think you're probably it's probably happening right now. But states also, the states are the ones that get all that extra tax revenue. That's when you see states start to legalize.
Oh, the Indiana governor. He wants to see more research. All right, come the fuck on, buddy. All right,
give us rainwater.
In rainwater, the libertarian gubernatorial. I watched the gubernatorial debates. Okay, I watched the gubernatorial debates of Indiana, and they were electric, obviously. And the governor Holcomb, who's the incumbent, I do believe, he won again, a Republican. He's obviously super against it for whatever reason. I don't know what it would be. Maybe because the hippies way back in the day painted it in a bad light or something like. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea why you'd be against it. But his big stance was, I want to see more research that it actually helps anything like that. Rainwater off the top rope goes, oh, so you're telling us 37 states worth of research wasn't enough? It was a real hot topic, and it feels like it's getting to the point where even the most Republican or conservative of states are potentially looking at the benefits economically and everything else that could really go. But it's going to take some time to turn some people, man. I have no idea why, but it's going to take some time, I assume.
Yeah, well, the weird stigma that comes with it, I think the older generation, younger kids don't have that. Like they don't. No. It's not a big deal to them at all. Talk to a high school or college kid now. Okay, like you mentioned weed, they're like, what do you mean? Like that's water to them.
Yeah. I agree.
Just about 420, dude.
Just about, yeah. It's 420 somewhere, dude, isn't it?
Think of the states, though. How much pressure would you have if you were a governor, you were someone trying to bring in money for your states, whatever state you're running? Think about it, though. With the COVID situation, they're going to need some cash, man.
Well, not only that with the COVID situation, but if you look at your infrastructure and you have the worst potholes in America, you have the worst roads in America, and things haven't really been updated in a long, long time, and there's other stuff, you would think you would be a state that has great farmland too, that people and researchers have said, hey, this state could really do well if it was to be had. You would think if you were a governor, you would feel some sort of hey, I'm here to help this state and make this place better. I don't care what the political party. You would think that would start to happen. But I'm here to tell you, The gubernatorial debate I saw, it was not. It was not even in the conversation. But we will wait until that day, and we will drive to Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio, all the states that surround Indiana that have some sort of things. But shout out to Indiana for overturning CBD last year.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was a cool day. Let's go to the phones.
There's 97 CBD shops within a 2-mile radius of your place right there.
Yeah, there are. Actually, yeah. There's a couple water pipe stores, too, right down here to inhale your CBDs, which is very nice. Overpriced, but you got to do what you got to do when you got to smuggle things into Indiana. It's probably tough for them. Let's go to Joe in Iowa. What's going on, Joe?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
Hey, not too shabby, Bob. How are you over there in Iowa?
I'm hanging in there. Dirty D, Dubuque, Iowa, living the dream. How about yourself?
Oh, nice. Go Hawks, bro. Go Hawks. Everything's good over here. What do you want to talk about, brother?
All right, so I'm a Bears fan, Bear Down, Vito. Actually got a quick question for AJ Hawk. So my mom went to St. Norbert, where the Packers have spring training. We went and visited and accidentally walked in on a team meeting where Big Mike was at the stage and Aaron Rodgers was sitting there. Our whole family is shell-shocked. No one speaks, and I have an autistic brother, and he just yells, "Go Bears," in front of the entire fucking team, and then we get escorted out from security. Since then, Aaron Rodgers has personally caused me, I think, 14 terrible days of defeating the Bears.
Nice.
My goal is to watch the Bears at Lambeau beat the shit out of the Packers.
Let's go.
Never going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
It's going to happen 2 weeks,
Keep dreaming, Bob.
Sorry,
Let's
buddy.
go to Jonathan in Tennessee. Hey, AJ, you remember that?
Big Mike, I don't think ever stepped foot at St. Norbert's. That's the dorm we stayed at. We never had meetings there, so I don't know where he walked in on everybody.
Oh, so you're questioning the validity of that guy's story, which I think Ryan Phillippe did to you yesterday.
Maybe he was inside the bowels of Lambeau and he somehow stumbled into the team meeting room, which I don't think would ever happen because I never saw an outsider inside the halls of Lambeau.
Speaking of bowels, sorry, that'd be crazy to be there. Do you remember when we were in the bowels of that casino in the Bahamas?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Bro, we were in Ocean's 11. Somehow we ended up in these hallways where there was like a vault, like right here. Like we
They were closing the door, and there was like $450 million just sitting behind
and
it.
we're just walking around. I got my championship belt from that golf tournament on my shoulder, and like the people are just like, oh, and then we slowly got like shuffled out of there. The bowels of places, I can tell you, the casino, there was all white paint. There was no windows. There was a lot of turns, so you couldn't really see. We were the only people in like 6 different hallways until we weren't, and then there was a lot of people in there. That just reminded me of that guy walking around fucking Lambeau in the bottom and the bows down there. Like that's where all the magic is made. What's up, Nick?
Oh, you'd be amazed where you can get to in areas if you just walk around casually and don't say anything.
Yeah, you see this belt? You see this belt? This is basically what we did.
It's a good belt.
We walked into a door that we probably weren't supposed to be in. Just kind of walked in behind the guys who opened the door, and we just walked. By the way, to our credit, we thought it was the right place.
Yeah.
We just started walking, and that person turns left, and we're like, I guess we'll just keep going straight here. And we just walk around, we turn a corner, and I think everybody just saw the belt and was just like, oh.
Let him in.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Right this way, sir.
Like, we could have Ocean's 11 that thing if we really had any sense of where we were at the time.
Yeah, I mean, probably. And the way I got my teeth kicked in at the casino, they could have at least thrown me a couple hundos to go back up there and give it right back.
You are a consummate loser at the casinos.
Not consummate.
Yeah. The Shazier night, man. It was.
Well, you know, that's a good lesson for anyone out there. If you're going to play blackjack, you know, don't sit next to a guy who played in the NFL, started, you know, was a first-round pick. He's got a little bit more scratch than you do.
Let's go to Jonathan in Tennessee. What's up, man? Last call of the day. What do you want to talk about?
Pat, hey, I just want to say first-time caller, I love your show. I'm down here in Tennessee. I need to know about my Titans. I need to know if this is the week the defense finally shows up against that statue of a quarterback the Colts have.
Hey, Jonathan, take it easy. Whoa. I'm not sure, but it does feel like something that would happen to the Colts this year if the Titans did show up like that. It's been a roller coaster this year. Investing $25 million in Phillip Rivers. You lose T.Y. He's hurt. I don't know if he's playing this week or not. Jack Doyle, who's another guy who's pretty steady. He gets his head blasted, so he's out for concussion. I don't know if he's playing. I hope he is. The offense for the Colts really hasn't found an identity, I don't think. I don't think they know what they are yet. I don't think they have a clue, which is not good this far into the season. And I think that's why Thursday Night Football could be very, very, very good this week.
Yeah, maybe I didn't hear the question or your answer. Some breaking news came in that I know you're going to be really intrigued by. I think so. You know, Wichita State's about to fire their basketball coach.
Let's go Shockers.
Well, supposedly, I guess Thad Matta is the top of the list to take the gig. Thad Matta was the old Ohio State coach. He's been out of the game for a little bit. Maybe he's taking the gig.
Whoa. For Wichita State?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to tell you.
Is this real? We have like 2 minutes left. Is that Wichita State? They had great hats. I remember having a lot because they were the Shockers and everything like that. Are they even going to play basketball? Like, is college basketball?
Basketball starts in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks they're playing the basketball?
Are there any fans going to be there?
I don't know. Things are starting to turn the other way. So
what do you mean?
States are starting to
open up.
Go the other way.
Closing.
Well, things are starting to get locked back down.
The Indiana Governor Holcomb, who you were just talking about, made an announcement, I think like half an hour ago, that no, we're not going to the next stage. We're going backwards.
What?
What does that mean?
This show stinks. Is that real?
Yeah.
A lot of people are worried. A lot of people are worried that like a lot of places may lock down again, but I don't know. I don't know if
France and Germany locked down, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. England, I believe, as well.
Canada, they got like $25,000 fines. They find you outside your house.
That's what Gump was saying.
Is that right?
When you travel back, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
Do they check you?
Yeah, they come knock at your door once a day, AJ.
Is that real?
A Mountie.
V for Vendetta shows up at my goddamn door once a day? Wow. On the horse up there.
Oh, yeah. With the hat.
Hey.
Hey, buddy, stay in your house.
Wow. All right, it's been a good Wednesday, man. Hope Chris Mad Dog Russo has much better news for you than we ended here. That's wild. We're going to get locked back down.
Yeah.
This show's coming to an end. Thank Justin Jefferson. Thank you, Mina Kimes. Thank you, AJ Hawk. Thanks to the boys. Thanks to all of you for listening and watching wherever you may be. You're the greatest humans of all time. Stay safe out there, okay? Stay safe out there because it does take all of us, okay? It takes all of us. A lot more taking of the all from the NFL players and everybody else. But it takes all of us. Let's be safe. Chris Mad Dog Russo, Mad Dog Unleashed, here on Sirius XM is next. This has been a Pat McAfee show. Hopefully the next show is better than this.
Ooh, wow.
Nailed it. Hey, you too, Bob. Good job by you too, Bob. No, you have a great day, dude. No, you. No. Hey, by the way, the 45-second countdown drop-in, one I've never heard before. Appreciate it. Kept me on my toes today. Really appreciate that, man.
I like this guy.
Yeah, who's this? That guy gets it.
He is. He's the take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets it. That guy gets it right there. Normally you get like a 30, 10, 5 count. He was like 45 out of nowhere. I'm like, whoa.
Okay.
What all can I do in 40? I like him. I like him a lot. It kind of made me like, can I run and I can't run and piss, but it's not 30 seconds. So I'll get like 15 seconds to just fuck around a little bit.
Hang out.
Yeah. I'm going to stretch a little bit here. A little bit. Get him. AJ.
It's Wednesday. Aren't you supposed to go wrestle?
Excuse me. I do have places to go. Thank you very much.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
What are those?
These are Tom Brady shades. They're nice. They're from Denmark.
Ooh. Wow.
They're from Denmark.
What's the brand?
You know, probably should know.
Tommy Foxborough.
It's on a box out there.
Wait, I thought you meant like, is he selling TB12 shades now?
So it says Tom Brady here on the right one, and then on the left one it says Christopher Kloos.
Ooh, the Klooses.
Christopher Kloos.
So it's like a Tom Brady model of this brand.
Yeah, this Danish sunglass. And I don't know what the sun's like over there, but it causes them to create great fucking shades. And I assume Tom drew this up.
Yeah.
From hand.
Designed them.
It's the Kloos and Brady.
The Kloos and Brady.
Ooh.
CLOOS.
X.
Oh.
They're not terribly priced either.
How much are they?
Like $190.
That seems terribly priced.
Brady.
But you go buy a pair of like Ray-Ban shit like that, they're all the same price. That's all the same.
Yeah, I think listen, they're sturdy though. Like these things are very
good.
You can feel that these are real made.
Denmark.
But I would never spend $190, so I can't tell somebody else to do it. But if you are somebody that would spend $190 on glasses, I think when you put these on, you'd say, you know what? $200, not too fucking shabby.
Those prescription?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
The ones
It can be though, I assume. That's why the X is in there. Yeah, it's Kloos X Brady.
The ones I had taken out of my car about that much.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why would the X Why would the X let you know that you can? These come in prescription lenses as well.
RX, dude, obviously. I mean,
jeez.
It's not going to be Cluse R, Brady. You know, you put the X in there because RX, dude.
Use your brain.
Brady looks good in these.
Do they have any kind of special like antibiotic or healing powers that will help me through any illness I have?
As soon as I put these on, I did feel smarter. You know what I mean? As soon as I put them on. And then as soon as I took them off, I was like, wait, I want regular ass ice cream again. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you put this on, you're in the TB12 experience completely.
Whoa.
See the world how Tom Brady sees the world.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that it would get darker. No, it gets lighter. Everything's better in here. Yeah, that's a lie, by the way. And they did not pay us to talk about these, but if they did, it better be more than $190 fucking. These things are really nice, though. I don't think they break.
Why do you have them? What's the story behind this?
Tom Brady just started shipping us shit. I get TB12 stuff all the time. They look
awesome.
He's a fan.
They look better on him. I got some TB12 shirts. I got some TB12, I think, stuff. It's really, I've never talked to the man, but I want to let him know I appreciate it. And these glasses immediately make me look cooler.
Wow, that picture was great.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He knows you're mover and shaker, dude.
I don't know if I'll ever look like that, though.
It's his guy. It's probably Guerrero sending them to you, but the guy that runs TB12.
Guerrero.
AG?
Is he the reason why the Patriots are struggling? Because he's not around anymore?
Probably.
Wow.
Something to think about.
Is he in Tampa with Tom? Or
Oh,
what's
yeah. He was on the field the other night, I think, coming off a warm-up or whatever. Yeah.
He's taking snaps.
He is listen, Vinatieri, he was taking some snaps.
I saw it. Yeah.
AQ Shipley snapping to Guerrero. Backup center. He has like an army of people that do what he does, his pliability thing. And Vinatieri had a Guerrero disciple that came into Indianapolis, would prefer him to anybody, would say like, hey, it's awesome, it helps out a lot to anybody. Like I think it's a lot of people think it's like bullshit or whatever, but I think anybody that's ever utilized Alex, they believe in it like full on because your muscles, and they got a lot of guys that have played for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. It's like there has to be something that happens, and I think everybody in New England was almost like, once they saw Tom start doing it, they're like, oh, is there any way you can? And it kind of like became something. And then remember, they moved their entire facility to their facility for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't want them in the building or out of the building, but players were just going. It was like a joint venture almost to the TB12 thing. That's out now. And I wonder if they're still doing it up there with some of his army up there, but I don't know.
They do have like a main office in Boston where you can go and buy stuff. And I know like Edelman still gets treatment there, and I'm not sure about any of the other guys.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Like the guy that worked on Vinny is one of Vinny's like close friends. And I did one time, Bo. I'm not that dedicated to being good. It hurts so bad, AJ. It hurts so bad.
There's a price to pliability.
He did this thing.
Oh yeah,
like the plank up on the wall on like your hamstring. You know what I mean? Like it was like a deep one of those things. I was just crying. I was like, all right, I'm not paying for this.
Maybe Tom. You think Tom Curran? Is it Tom Curran? Is that the guy?
Yeah,
Tommy.
I think Tom will write a story on that. Like, hey, maybe the absence of Guerrero is a big reason why the Patriots don't look like the Patriots.
Yeah, because the only people that talk up Guerrero, is Tom Brady, but everybody else that buys into the thing that Guerrero does, you don't hear them talk about it much. Maybe that is a real thing that is potentially happening up there. Because if you can recover from things faster because of whatever's going on with the way you're working your muscles, that's quite a benefit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something to talk about. Hey, this is a sports show that talks about things. That is something that should be talked about.
Yeah.
Also, I have to get on the road, pal, because I got a show to steal tonight, USA Network. The show's on from 8 to 10. I have no idea when I'm on. I will give an update on the Twitter. I will give
That's always nice.
I will give an update.
Can't wait. Good luck, man.
I don't need luck, pal. Okay? But I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Are you still? What are you? Are you the manager for those guys? What's your job?
Yeah, a lot of talking out of me. And I love it because I could just be an absolute dick at all times. It's actually encouraged. Like, hey, be a bigger dick, could you? Yeah, you got it. Sure. Let me dial it up a little bit. I can definitely do that for you. It's a good time.
Perfect. It's great for you because you can eat carbs and you don't have to get spray tanned every 4 days now. You're just talking.
Will somebody tell him, please?
Yeah.
Not doing that, AJ.
Will somebody tell him, please?
Tell him.
He's back in ketosis.
Bro, I'm in ketosis right now.
Oh, you're keto, bro. Oh, sweet, man.
Why do you say it like that?
Literally, what you said, though, I said one word, and it completely debunks your fucking statement. Like, oh, you're back to eating carbs and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm keto right now, okay? No carbs, pal.
Do you test yourself? You gotta check to make sure you're staying in ketosis.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Duh.
All right, I can. Just withering away, you know? The fat just withering away. These glasses, I think I like them. Tom did a good job here with Mr. Christopher Calouse.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome.
They look great.
Get them in prescription with the X. All right, I'm out of here. I'll be on the television tonight if you want to watch. We'll do a T-shirt giveaway or something. We did a bunch last week. We'll do it again.
Let's go.
Mitt gave away, I think, 30 shirts in the last couple weeks.
Boy, Mitt.
Ty's given away 10 grand to podcast listeners. Pat McAfee Show 2.0. We gave away $125,000. You know, that's the thing about why, you know, rich people stay rich, they say. You know, they kind of get greedy with their money. We're not like that.
Nah.
And we're going to see if we can maintain, you know, successful business while just giving away things at all times.
Only one way to find out.
Worked for Clearinghouse.
It did.
Maybe it'll work for us.
Worked for Bill Gates, right, Connor?
Oh, come on.
All right.
Come on. Go ahead, Connor.
Don't you dare.
All right.
Say something like that.
Am I slandering Bill Gates? I'm sorry.
So, this has been the show. This show stinks. All right. Everybody have a good one. Yeah. USA Network tonight, 8 o'clock. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Hashtag WWE NXT. Watch alongside. Oh,
This son of a bitch.
And you could potentially win some merch, cheese. And also hashtag Arby's is great. Enter before tomorrow. All right. Bye. See ya. Thank you.